You're not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Well, hello there, friends. The Monty Show, live on Monday, April 20th, 2026, presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Listen, if you've been in an accident, if you got hit by an Uber driver, you got to get to theadvocates.com. I'm telling you, the best part about the Advocates is I believe personally that insurance is a scam. You got to have it. I totally get it. But I am telling you right now, don't expect your insurance company to pay what you have earned by paying your premiums and being a good customer. That's not enough anymore because the insurance companies are not working for you. The insurance companies are looking out for their shareholders and their bottom line. You need somebody who has fought the insurance companies and beat the insurance companies. And that's the Advocates at theadvocates.com, where you never reach into your pocket to pay the advocates. No. You just get clear, risk-free advice 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com, where you don't pay unless and until the advocates win your case. Okay, a lot to get to today. The NFL draft starts Thursday. Finally, I feel like this run-up to the NFL draft is brutal. I don't know why it's so late in once the season ends, have the NFL draft the next day. That's unreasonable. But I understand we want to string it along and we need dudes flopping their meat around in underpants in Indianapolis, which says something about that city. Totally get it.
Do you even live?
Right? Like, totally get it. We need workouts. We need Diana Rossini in Slam Dona. I totally get it. Totally get it. But this feels like forever. And as somebody that's a draft and a combine and a workout junkie, I am ready for the NFL draft. I am ready to see if all of the rumors are true about Caleb Downs sliding. I am ready to see if all of the rumors about A.J. Brown being traded, are they legitimate? Are we finally going to see Philadelphia make a correct and proper, move? All of it. We get the answers on Thursday at the latest. And I, frankly, I'm here for it. Big shout out to everybody in the... Yes, Noel, how about the Orlando Magic? Stunning the Detroit Pistons. It's one game. They're probably not winning that series, but hell of a start for the Magic, right? Yes, it's looking a lot like draft time. Hello, welcome to the nightmare. The Frog Father. Lobes fan Gabe. Couldn't do this show without you guys, right? The vest returns. It does. Noel says, Uncle Monty, stunning that fresh cut. I've not gotten a haircut recently, but thank you. I guess it was 3 weeks ago I got a haircut. So I appreciate it. It's only 3 weeks late, but I appreciate you noticing.
Yeah.
It's all good. All right, let's start with this story in the Big 12. And really, I say it's a story in the Big 12. It's a story of college football because I think this is a very important time in college athletics, obviously. But there is this push in college football that we have been talking about for years now, multiple years. I think going back to, 2024 Big 12 Media Day, where you had Kyle Whittingham saying that we're going to an NFL model after we said, well, college football is going to an NFL model, right? And we know that the heads of the power conferences have pretty consistently kept in touch with Roger Goodell and his minions, advising, directing certain things, acting as a sounding board for the P4 conferences. We know that that has happened, right? We know that college football leadership, and I think really, I believe 3 of the 4 power conference commissioners, because I think Jim Phillips has not made his position clear. But 3 of the 4, Tony Petitti, Greg Sankey, and Brett Yormark, are all in on going to an NFL model. In the Big Ten, I think you have 14 universities. 13, probably 14 universities want to go to an NFL model. I think in the SEC, you're right around that same number. Most of the folks in the SEC are all in to go to an NFL model. There are 4 universities in the Big 12 who want to go to an NFL model. 4. And I don't know how this conference survives under this kind of fracture, where you have a commissioner, and here we are again talking about Brett Yormark advising people that hired him on direction and path, and they're just fighting and pushing back. And in talking to TV people last Thursday and Friday, and chit-chatting with some folks over the weekend, I can tell you there is frustration with especially Texas Tech, BYU, and Utah, who are 3 of the 4 universities in this league, and Colorado being the 4th, who are all in on going NFL model, which means paying the players a higher rate. And I think most importantly, creating a collective bargaining framework that will allow the players in college football to join an organized labor union that will negotiate on their behalf. Once you sign what is being talked about is you sign a letter of intent. And as part of that letter of intent, you sign a commitment and an agreement to join this labor union. And part of your profit sharing and the pay that you will get from being a college football player goes to that labor union to represent you. I don't know, kind of like what happens in the NFL. Yet you have the majority of people in the Big 12 not in favor of that. And when I say people, university presidents and athletic directors not in favor of going to an NFL model. And I think from what most people believe, the loudest dissenting voices are also the loudest dissenting voices about how much to pay players. Should players be paid? And frankly, should the Big 12 go to an equity distribution model, which Brett Yormark has championed? Yet, why hasn't it happened? Well, because most of the universities in this league don't want to perform at a high level and allocate the human and financial resources that were required to do so. And I think the Big 12 is absolutely a ticking time bomb of failure.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a inevitability that if you're not going to if you're not going to change, if you're not going to adapt, if you're not going to embrace the fact that the industry eventually is going to get to that setup eventually. I mean, you just can't continue in the long term to have this situation play out where money is basically unregulated, where, I mean, you're just out here, paying kids as much as it takes to get them to commit to your team, without any type of logic or reason. And I think that's the biggest issue, is that there isn't seemingly a value attached to like numbers and skill set and impact the way that you have in the NFL. I mean, literally in the NFL, we can look at a guy and be like, all right, cool. Like he's going to fall in this range. And sure, we have some outliers. Maybe, you've got a guy who gets overpaid by a team or something once in a while, but we generally speaking have a pretty good idea of what guys are going to make in the NFL. And I just think that value proposition is completely out of whack in college football. And so it's this age old conundrum in the Big 12 of, hey, well, the Big 10 and the SEC want to push forward. They are all in on getting to a better system that protects schools and adds more structure and gets everyone on the same page and probably honestly like gives the kid a little bit less stress about the money side of being a college football player, because you can't tell me kids don't, players don't have stress over that too. So I think, it's surprising on one hand that the Big 12 would struggle to embrace this, but then on the other hand, we get right back to where we always are, which is, hey, well, the Big 12 leadership, the ADs and the presidents don't want to do anything different than what they've been doing for however long it's been. And that's what I think further pushes the idea that Yormark and the Big 12 are at odds with each other on some level. That Brett Yormark has done a great job with the basketball tournament and pushing this conference forward. And now what I think is even funnier as it relates to this conversation is all this Texas Tech nonsense has just died. There's notice you haven't heard anything out of Lubbock. Nothing, like that whole thing has just cooled off. So I don't know. I don't know what Brett did behind the scenes. I don't know, what got taken care of, but seemingly the conference has been very quiet for the last, I would say, honestly, since like early last week. There hasn't really been much.
Do you believe that college football players should have a union and a collective bargaining agreement?
Well,
Because my opinion is I don't see any way for college football to move forward without it.
Yeah,
and I'm curious.
It has to have it.
I'm curious what you guys think in the comments section. Because I know a lot of college football fans do not want a union or a collective bargaining agreement that would give college football players more opportunity to make more money. And obviously, in this country where we saved college sports a few weeks ago, with a toothless executive order that did nothing. I know a lot of the old hairs in this country don't want college athletes paid. And so the idea of giving them unionization and protections under a union with a collectively bargained set of rules and legislation, if you will, it would make them exponentially more money. And I think that would piss people off.
Wow. I mean, if that's, listen, if leadership in college football is going to look at this and say, well, hey, we don't want to make kids more money, while also, not understanding that by allowing them to collective bargain, you're going to make more money, I think is a pretty short-sighted thing, right? I mean, if you can collective bargain the players and have that organization and structure, that would give you endless opportunities to make more money in college football. And again, I think it does get back to what you were talking about. The performance-based distribution model at the conference level then would have to be a priority, because we're still going to have, just like we do now in pro sports, we're still going to have the usual suspects who are going to play at the bottom of the pool no matter what structure they're playing in. We're still going to have that. And there's still going to be this dynamic in the Big 12 of 3 or 4 schools that do everything they can do to win, but I
don't think that exists anymore, because I think if you are to have a college football players union and a CBA that governs the relationship between colleges and players, you certainly have a new entity, because now you're talking about antitrust exemptions. You're talking about protections under the NLRB, the union protections. Like, you couldn't continue to have these feckless universities like Baylor and Oak State that just do not make an effort to win anything. You can't have these situations where a loudmouth like Tommy Tuberville is allowed to, you know, essentially say we're not paying them because the old white guys are the ones who should keep the money, which is essentially what Tommy Tuberville's generation believes and how they acted, which is how we got here in the first place. Because let's not forget that. Why are we in this situation? Why did Ed O'Bannon wind up in court? Why are we fighting through all of these lawsuits? Because the old folks that ran college athletics didn't want to pay players. Did not, and it's not even pay players, didn't want to allow players to go to a car dealership and represent that car dealership. It's essentially you saying, hey, you know, like, who's the best player in college football? Caleb Downs. Yeah, you can't go to Columbus Ford and use your name, and they can't use pictures of you to sell more cars. That's what you said. And that's how we wound up in court. And it's why you have this disparity where Ohio State's got everything and people like Boise State, who should compete and regularly do compete, are capped. Because you, as old folks, didn't want to pay the youngins who made you all that money, any of all that money that you made. Let's be really clear. That's why we are where we are in college athletics. So you can sit here and say the players are greedy, or if the players are greedy, what are the old hairs that ran college football into the ground to where it is now? What were they? Because we want to do this thing where right now in this country, the old rich folks blame the college players for being greedy. Because that's really the messaging that you hear. Oh, well, they're getting an education, Monty. Okay, cool. They're getting an education. What are you getting? You're getting billions of dollars. And you won't share it. So yeah, I don't think they should be able to have a union and a CBA. I think it's mandatory that college athletes, not even just football players, certainly basketball players, have a union and the ability to collectively bargain for their best interests. And no, I do not think the value of an education is worth the price that college football players pay. I truly do not, because the 1% that will have their name called, less than 1% that will have their name called on this weekend in the NFL draft, the stories you've never heard about people that are maimed, injured, lifetime handicap because they played college football and never got to the NFL and never got a paycheck. And because you don't think that they should be paid, and because you gave them a scholarship and the cost of education is amazing, but now you don't want to pay for Buddy's knee replacement. That's why we are where we are. And I think it's really important we keep the focus on that.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think that the old white hair has been prolific in college athletics, and I think continues to be prolific. I think that, hell, even the if you look at not just this issue, but any of the other issues that plague college football, I mean, most of that can be tied back to old white hair or trying to make money or trying to leverage somebody for something. I mean, that we see that dynamic at play regularly, and that's the troubling part, and that's what I think is so interesting when you compare the NFL to college football, because it's not like that dynamic changes in the NFL. The only thing that changes in the NFL is that you're collectively bargained and you have structure in place to allow the players to negotiate with old white hair in a way that's productive. I mean, look at Jerry Jones. I mean, what do we always hear out of Jerry Jones? Oh, I don't need to talk to agents. I'm just going to talk directly to players. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. I'm the billionaire oil man, right? Like it's that sentiment that that I feel like is championed by Cody Campbell and other powerful figures in college football with money, that just think that they can do whatever the hell they want to do. And I
Yep.
understand that money affords you a lot of things, right? That are not just, material items. There's a lot of influence and a lot of sway and aura, if you will, with having a
Yes.
lot of money. But I just think that this college football issue, it should be concerning to college football fans. It is not an easy fix, number one. Number two, there's not a clear way to fix it. So not only is it a difficult problem to understand and solve, it is then even, it's compounded because there's so many people in the room, if you will, who have to get on board with it. And then thirdly, I think that I'm telling you, I just, and maybe I'll be wrong for this, but I just don't believe that, let's say that there was a new entity, right, as part of this conversation, which I agree there most likely would have to be. I don't know how else you would do it, but I just don't believe that the Big 12 is this conference where everyone's all lovey-dovey and the presidents and the ADs like each other and they're all just so excited to get on their weekly Zoom calls, man. I don't believe that about this conference. I think that this conference is largely fractured into small little pods, if you will. You've got, again, like you were saying, the Tech, BYU, Utah, contingent at the top of the conference. But then look at the rest of the conference. Look at the way that like Iowa State's fall here after Matt Campbell's departure. I mean, you just went from competing for the conference for most of last year until the end to now being probably like a 5-win team.
But what is Iowa State infamous for? What is Iowa State, Oak State, TCU, Baylor? Put all the regular dudes on the list. Openly talking about their desire not to pay their players. Mike Gundy's time for negotiations are over.
Quit having your agent call me.
Right? Iowa State, our players took a pay cut to come back. Like, are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind talking about this? Baylor fired their athletic director and then pretty much said out loud, yeah, we're not going to fire Dave Aranda because we don't want to pay him, and then we don't want to pay for a new search and then pay a new coach.
Yeah.
You just signed Sonny Dykes to a contract extension on one good year 3 years ago. He's been 500 or sub 500. They're moving in the wrong direction. He torched a player who transferred, and then you signed him to a contract extension. And don't even get me started on Scott Frost at UCF. Don't even get me started on the K-State, Kansas situations. Right? Like, I'm telling you now, Matt Campbell's not the coach at Iowa State because you're not doing what's required. And I will continue to say this, wanting to win, sure. Does TCU want to win every football game they play? Yes. Is Baylor willing to do whatever it takes to win every football game they play? No. They're not. But I know the Utah folks intimately, they are. I know the BYU folks intimately, they are. I'm telling you, you can, that it is clear that Texas Tech does. It is clear that Colorado does. Do they win every game? Do they win every rep? No. But are they spending the money, hiring the people, building the infrastructure, doing everything that they know how to do to win every rep of college football? Yes. Yes. And I don't know how to any more clearly paint this picture than to say, look at the very, very bottom of every conference, every P4 conference. Go look at the bottom of the standings. And then you tell me that Minnesota's doing everything they can do to win. You tell me that Northwestern for the last 3 years, while spending money on lawsuits and stadiums, is doing everything they can do to win every game. Go ahead and make that case for me that Mississippi State's doing everything they can do to win that game. Make the case for me that Oak State, who played a large role, in my opinion, in running Texas and Oklahoma out of that conference. Make the case for me that Baylor. Make the case for me that the bottom 3/4 of the Big 12 even know how to win games. You can't. You cannot. I'm just telling you, you can't. There's just no way to do it.
Yeah, I also think that it's this thing where and I saw it all over. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to find, obviously, right? But like I saw it all weekend long. Like, oh man, dude, my like different college football fans. But like, if you go looking for it, you'll see fans say things like, "Oh man, my school, this school or that school, man, we went out and got this support staff or." We did this or we did that or we backfilled this guy. And it's like, that's cool, man. But do you really think that does that make me believe that all of a sudden your head coach who hasn't really won anything in several years is going to change? Like, that's what I don't think that I guess, and maybe it's a cynical view. I don't know. I just don't. I'm just not willing to look at a team like again with Utah, right? I mean, again, that might be the best example,
Yes.
right? Like, oh man, dude, Kyle's gone, but we're better off. Well, I don't think you can say that, or like any.
You have no way to measure that.
Yeah, you don't have a way to measure that, or like tangibly, stick to a stat, and you're like, oh man, like this stat means that we're gonna like. You can't do that, and that's the difference, dude.
This is Oklahoma State. I think this is perfectly illustrative of Oklahoma State. Oh, well, Monty, we fired our coach and we went and got a new coach and we went and got Drew Mesta Lovemaker.
And Monty, he's dropping dimes in the spring game, Monty.
And look at him in the spring game. We're winning the whole fucking thing, Monty. Okay, cool. So you went and got a new coach. You went and got a new coaching staff. You went and got his quarterback because it's not like Oak State went out and got the best available quarterback. But you guys understand, and maybe you don't, the head coach and the quarterback don't win you football games. You understand that, right? You have to have a really good head coach, and you certainly, everybody who wins, look at Texas Tech. Why didn't Texas Tech win last year? Who was Texas Tech's ceiling last year? And all of you railed me for it when I said it, but who was Texas Tech's ceiling last year? Oh, it was Baron Morton. Why did you go get the guy who still hasn't paid Cincinnati $1 million to get out of his contract at Cincinnati? Why'd you go get that? Why'd you go get the great Renigger? Why did you go get him? The great liar, the great, guy who doesn't stand behind his contracts. Why did you go sign Brendan Sorsby? Oh, because you needed an upgraded quarterback.
The ink isn't dry yet.
But what do we know that Texas Tech has? An elite defense that's 3 guys deep at every position. Why is that? Because they spend money. That's expensive. That's really expensive to pay 3 levels of defense. Not to mention offensive line, wide receiver, running backs, 2 quarterbacks now. That's expensive. Oak State. Oh, Monty. Drew Messemaker is going to be Heisman Trophy. He's not going to run stairs. He's going to win the Heisman Trophy. No, he's not, because he doesn't have elite wide receivers. He doesn't have 3 guys on defense. But look at Colorado, probably an even better example of this. Wants to win, spends the money to win, and loses.
Do you believe
that Deion Sanders is on the hot seat? I do believe.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between wanting to win and winning. I'm just telling you that right now. Look, Oak State James gets the first comment today. So what's to stop people like us to get on social media and say, we as fans want an NFL model? You can do that, but nobody cares.
Hold on. What do you mean? What's to stop you from doing that? You already do it weekly. You tag me on Twitter weekly. We know that you have this ability. This is established. We know that.
Fans, and wow, this is going to sound really cynical, and I don't mean it to be so cynical. I just think it's a reality. You don't matter.
Paul didn't go in the hoop.
You know why fans don't matter? And we've talked about this repeatedly on the show. You know why fans don't matter? Because you're going to keep buying. What did James call them at Utah? CNS seating.
Yes.
Monty, can you believe we didn't fire our coach? Oh, shit, look at that. I just got an email. I can upgrade my seats. Boy, let's do that.
Pay that man his money.
And how many times have you sat on the show, James, and defended Sonny Dykes now because all of a sudden you're some TCU fan? The problem is you keep buying stickers for your mirror caps on your Japo shitbox. Right? I mean, that's the issue. It's this Bears thing. We're hearing that the Bears are very close to a stadium deal. Don't know which way they're going, but they're very close to a stadium deal. I am telling you now, if the Bears move to Hammond, Indiana, they're dead to me.
Yes.
I will not talk about the Bears. I will not wear Bears gear. I will quite literally get rid of all of my Bears stuff outside of Walter Payton's jersey. You will not see me wearing the Script B hat anymore. None of it.
Will you find a new team?
I don't know. Because I don't really have another team. I mean, I live in Seattle. I'm not a Seahawks fan in any way, shape, or form.
What kind of ridiculous narrative can you come up with as a reason to be a fan of another team?
Yeah, my team moved to Hammond, Indiana. What choice did I have?
Come on, dude.
Who would blame me?
Yeah.
Right? I'd probably be the LA Rams. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is I won't be a Bears fan. You know, Oak State James' right hand. Okay. I don't want to know what that's about. You know, what you do in your own time, you know, that's what you do in your own time.
Yeah, getting to like 800 times a month. I mean, that's a you thing, dude.
I think that setting up a union would protect both the players and the teams so that they could write and enforce contracts for both of them. Exactly right. Play by a contracted set of rules. Alex, hello. The Chad Carter. How's it going, Chad? Good to see you.
How's the well?
I think fans are, for some weird reason, more sympathetic to schools and not players, which I think is exactly right. Fans are stupid. I think that's exactly right. Getting more organization and stability for paying players is better for the sport. That's exactly right.
I love how you just come out and say fans are stupid.
Well, it's this idea. It's the Oak State James, who's now a TCU fan. Who
Everybody
knows
needs
why?
To get a life, bro.
Yeah. Defending Sonny Dykes. You have no basis to defend Sonny Dykes. You weren't a fan when TCU went to the national championship game and got bent over like Susie in Las Vegas at prom night.
Your third leg was just phenomenal.
But now out of nowhere, for who knows why.
Oh, we know why.
I know why. I just like being obnoxious and saying I don't understand why James is, because I'm sure. Oh, well, listen, Monty, my MDiv, I got to tell you, I have an intensive. Nobody cares.
I know that doesn't give you any frame of reference.
But it's you showing up on a daily basis being like, oh man, Sonny Dykes, look at all this money. He's won the most games in the last 4 years. On a Thursday night, that's the second Thursday of the fourth month of the second quarter of the lunar moon. And at that point, you know, how do you not extend the guy?
It's the fucking vernal equinox.
Now, vernal equinox, Sonny Dykes, his titties are, you know, he's got glass cutters on this morning. Like, that's the problem. Oak State James will show up here on whatever team he's a fake fan of that day. And he'll be like, oh, well, listen, I was, and he'll be like, I was researching and I saw a stat while I was charting that said this guy's won this many. And it's like, oh, you mean the stat that's going around, the entire internet about TCU and like, just, I blame Monty and Jake's generation. Okay.
Yeah,
Stadium Guy James, you can say some schools don't want to try new things, but no one plays college football and doesn't want to win.
That's precisely the issue, dude. They do. That's what I'm saying. They do. That's my point.
Wanting to win. Does Baylor want to? Would it be better for Baylor if they won more games? Yeah, they'd make more money. Are they willing to do what it takes to win games? No. No, they're not. They're not. Jay McClanahan, hello. Iowa State was saying they could not pay prior to Campbell leaving. They were.
Correct.
Which is why he's not there anymore. Matt Campbell had a press conference talking about how his players took pay cuts to come back. Oh, how could that not make you want to go everywhere else but Iowa State? Yeah, now everybody went to Penn State with Matt Campbell. I don't get this at all. Coach Dykes went out and got a better OC, and yet they are bashing TCU.
Come on, dude.
Like I could script it. Baylor did get the QB from Florida. That was a good move in the portal. And he has looked stretched out and like he's walked the beat for a month. And then anyway, DJ Lagway's looked terrible.
Yeah.
Awful at Baylor. Just, Tom Dubay. Totally agree. Athletes are due more than scholarships. Think of the hundreds of thousands of swimmers, runners, etc., that developed repetitive motion issues, to say nothing of contact sports athletes. No. Hey, we allowed him to add an elective in the third quarter of year 2. That's more than enough compensation. Yes, because don't get me started. What's with the Utah love? They haven't accomplished anything. What Utah love?
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
The Pac's biggest claim was 2 Rose Bowl losses. In the Big 12, only championship is women's gymnastic, which most schools don't have. Okay, so last year, you don't think they were one of the 4 best teams in the conference? And note, I haven't talked about what they've done on the field. What I said was they spend the money that's required. They fired a basketball coach in February. Sonny Dykes still has a job. I think Ollie Gordon's still running stairs for his DUI. I could be wrong. Dave Aranda's still employed. Like, I could go up and down this conference. And you really think Utah, I don't even know who you're a fan. I assume you're a fan. I'd rather be Utah than TCU.
Yeah.
I'd rather be Utah football than TCU football. By a lot. I'm not sure it's close. So, but TCU clearly doesn't want to win. Signing Sonny Dykes to a contract extension. I would agree. It didn't make a lot of sense. Getting rid of Gundy, getting a new coaching system, that is change for the better. Might not meet some standards, but it's a start for change for the better.
But how do we know that it's changed for the better? This has always been my question. So just because you got rid of Gundy and brought in a new head coach and a new staff and mess makers looking nice and, you have these different things, like, aren't you a little concerned? And this is what I think is hilarious about spring practice. fans will be like, oh my God, look at DJ Lagway just lighting it up for Baylor. Look at Drew Mestamaker going ham for Oak State. You realize these guys are doing that against your defense.
With no fear of being hit.
You get that, right? Like, you're literally saying that your defense sucks and that your quarterback is good. That's the take as to why change allegedly is you're moving in the right direction. And that's why I say I'm not so quick to just be like, oh, well, man, TCU's going to be better. Oh, Monty, man, Oak State they're going to be better, Monty. They've made these changes, quarterbacks and coordinators and personnel, and it's going to be 7 wins instead of 4 wins. I don't buy that, dude. You're going to have to prove that. Like, you got to show me that bro can do it on the field at this level. Like, I just because he did it at what was it, North Texas, right? Like, I don't know. I just think we're so quick. But this is what I said about, and I'll say it again this week when we talk about draft guys, dude. If a guy can't roll up to a pro day or a combine and just dime out the whole time, like, what are we even talking about? Like,
what is there even to talk about?
Yeah, what even are we doing? Like, I agree, performing at the Gruden camp or like these one-off sites where it's definitely more mental and you're breaking down plays and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just think that we're a little quick to be like, oh yeah, they're moving in the right direction with any of these programs, not just to your comment, Mike, but just any of these programs, dude. I'm not doing it anymore. I am not like, even in the SEC, I'm not going to sit here and say that Lane Kiffin's going to go out and win a national championship in 1 year, or that he'll even get to the semifinal of the CFP. I think that's asking a lot in 1 year, even with the resources he's got. Like, it's a different thing, man.
Yeah, I think it is almost exclusively the support you get from administration is what determines success or failure in football, because it's so expensive. If you don't have, again, Oak State's a great example. What excuse do you have now not to win games? Because when you don't win games, what excuse will you make that you didn't win games? Because I actually think Mestamaker's a very good quarterback who's never played at this level before and has never gone against the defenses he's going to go against, especially at the top of this conference. So it is what it is. At least Oklahoma State got a quarterback that can actually throw the football, unlike Bryce Underwear at Cheatham. But did you see the behind-the-back passes at practice this week? Some of the revelations coming out of Michigan about what Bryce Underwood didn't know or understand about. He didn't understand basic cover 2 concepts pre-snap. One of the most basic reads. And a lot of it is butter knives really stunted the growth of Bryce Underwood. But you understand that most of us could diagnose a cover 2 by simply sending a tight end to the other end of the formation. And he couldn't, and he can do it now. I think, and if you're an Ohio State fan, you probably don't want to hear it. He's going to be one of the most improved players in all of college football.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's getting high-level classroom education at Michigan now. He was not getting the guy. They're saying that Michigan quarterbacks did not routinely review film in depth. That there was no accountability process. Because when you're a college quarterback, you every Sunday, and usually it's before you even hit the team plane or get back to your dorm room, you get an iPad, or in a lot of cases, I believe Michigan, I could be wrong, Michigan uses MacBook Pros. You get a computer device, and all of the film is downloaded onto your device before your head hits the pillow that night. He was never taught. They, as a collective group of quarterbacks at Michigan, were never taught how to watch film in depth. So when Bryce Underwood was watching film, he was watching himself. That's it. He would when you would send him his film, and he would just watch himself. Like looking at his mechanics and his footwork, or not looking at the defense, not trying to understand what his wide receivers were doing, not trying to understand where his thought process was broken, which is where quarterbacks win and lose, good to great, great to elite, is all mental. Because if you're a good quarterback, generally speaking, you have the physical aspect of the game down. You can throw a football. Bryce Underwood is learning how to watch tape on a critical level at Michigan. That's how bad Sharon Moore was at Michigan.
Were we really surprised?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be very interesting to see. In my opinion, I think it'll be very interesting to see two guys, Bryce Underwood and Bear Bachmeier, the incredible leaps that those two quarterbacks make.
Well, I would expect Bear to make a bigger leap than Bryce would. I mean, I think that Bear
really?
yeah, well, because I just think that mechanically, I don't think that Bear's flaws were as rough as Bryce's were. I mean, Bryce Underwood's throwing mechanics were ass. I mean, just awful. And I agree.
I think Bryce Underwood was playing quarterback with his eyes and not with his brain.
Okay,
I think
that
Bryce
might be
Underwood,
the case, but even if he's got the mentals, if you have crappy throwing mechanics, you're not that guy. And
well, I think Jason Beck is a hell of a quarterback coach.
Mhm.
I mean, I think, I don't know. I think Bryce has so much ability, and we haven't seen it. But here nor there. My point is, you look at somebody like Michigan, and you look at somebody like, again, Oak State or any of the dregs of the Big 12, and you just understand I mean, you put a puddle in your front yard and called it a swimming pool in the Big 12. You're trying to fool people with smoke and mirrors into thinking that, again, keeping Sonny Dykes was a great football decision. Get into his numbers. Get into the truth of, nobody's won more games in the last 4 years, Monty. Get into the truth of that and tell me that that was the right decision. Now, it's not like he went all butter knives. So you didn't have we'll see. Blunderwood is cheeks. Okay.
that maybe Blunderwood and Don't Want to Play or Sing can hang out.
Whether the current coaches at West Virginia turn it around, getting rid of Neil Brown was a step in the right direction. Yeah, I'll never forget being in Las Vegas several years ago, riding up an elevator with West Virginia fans and asking them their thoughts on Neil Brown.
No.
And this lady who was like 17 packs a day smoker, I will never forget her turning and looking at me with a glare of death. It was
didn't even say a word, just looked at you.
It was amazing. Mike also said some of these college football offenses are so dumbed down. You have schools like the Vols that have impressive wide receivers only to go to the NFL and only know one route. Yeah, I think the art of developing a quarterback is lost. College football coaches have so little time to actually invest in developing talent at the quarterback position because they've lost so much time to all this other BS that we see them dealing with. It's why I've railed for 2 years now about the shotgun, the constantly being in the shotgun in college football is killing the NFL. It is why you have running backs who don't know that they are telling the defense exactly what play is coming by how they are lined up when their quarterback is in gun. Because all you're doing is dumbing down the offense because the quarterback isn't being taught how to read defenses at a high level. And then you'll get somebody like an Arch Manning who comes in and actually doesn't need to be in the shotgun. And then you can see that they're breaking down his ego. And it's what makes Sark so good. Because you could, like Julian saying, it's what makes Ryan Day such an elite quarterback coach. Right? You see these guys come in that have never failed at anything. Pro-style quarterbacks show up, start as freshmen, and struggle. It's why when Quinn Ewers was still at Texas, getting Arch those reps was so incredibly important. And now you're seeing Arch Manning relearning how to the fundamentals of mental college football. I would expect Arch Manning to be significantly better. And he was already, I think, one of the best quarterbacks in college football the second half of last year. I would expect him to be significantly better. I don't think anybody will take a bigger jump than Bear Bachmeier and Bryce Underwood because they're just getting such good quarterback coaching now. And both of them, this will be their first year fully as the starter, fully coached, fully ramped, all offseason, good offense, good language, good coaching, good habits. I think they're going to take huge jumps forward. Dante Moore is not going to get measurably better than he was last year. How would you? Oregon is very interesting. I've been looking at all of the numbers. So many people have Oregon as the best team in the country right now.
Oh, they're not the best team in the country, dude.
But so many people have them.
Whoever's saying that lacks credibility. They're not. There's no way.
Go look. It's not small. Like, you go look at the people who believe that Oregon's going to win a national championship this year. Yet you changed Tosh Lupoi, you changed Will Stein, you changed the hierarchy in your coaching staff. It's going to be I think this is going to be a very difficult year for Oregon.
I mean, I still think they're a 10 gamer. I just don't think that you're going to go deep in the CFP. I think that this is not the year where you're going to get over that hump. I think that you got to see what they do, what their coordinators can do, what Dante Moore is actually like. He's not going to take the jump that Bryce and Bear are taking, but he's also twice as good as those guys are, probably. I'd say he's already miles better than they are. So, I mean, I just don't think he has a jump to take. I think it's more just like this year he's got to provide a lot more leadership, and he really needs to be that guy that's leading his team forward. And I just think I don't know. We were off Thursday and Friday gallivanting, but the letter that got sent out about enrollment and like just the interesting things going on at Oregon, and like you look at the Big Ten and like just what the Big Ten's trying to do at the conference level. I just think that there's a lot kind of going on for these schools, and it's just going to be whoever stays out of the weeds on it. You know, if you're a football coach in the Big Ten right now, stay out of the weeds, man. Just focus on your program, develop your guys, get ready for the season. If you do that, you'll be fine. But
Bro, what does that have to do with anything? Do you ever read your comments before you hit send? What does this have to do with anything? Help me understand the thought process behind, well, we changed our signs. And I love that you're like, we changed our signs. You were not there. You're like, explain to me what TCU changing their signs against Michigan. What does that have to do with how many, like, you're watching Josh Hoover leave your program and you're criticizing him in public, in the media, and if he wins and they continue to win with him, you probably should never talk TCU football again. Because help me understand it. Help me. And I know this is a really complex, deep, nuclear physicist level comment from you, because I know that you chart and stuff, and so your brain just works on a different level than everybody else's. But I need you to dumb it down so I can understand what is the greatness of this comment, because I'm clearly too stupid to get it. Because this comment has zero merit behind it. So help me get up to your level. If you could just like take a step back to my mentality and come down several thousand notches to this low level where I operate to help me understand what this comment's about. Because right now I'm a little lost on this. You know.
I mean, I think it's, I don't know, dude. I think this is precisely what I mean, dude. It's this whole idea of, hey, we did this a couple of years ago, and that means now that because we did that 3 years ago or 4 years ago now, that all is forgiven for these several ass seasons that you've had. And what's difficult, and this is where, I mean, maybe, you know, if TCU fan wants to call this meeting in the middle or something, okay, fine. But my only thing with college programs and their head coaches right now is, yeah, I agree that you shouldn't have extended Sonny Dykes. He should not be there still. But with that being said, if you didn't learn the Penn State lesson, then I think you're just as foolish. So if you're going to fire your head coach, you better have, I mean, at this point, like 5-6 guys lined up that you're going to go after. And you better understand that the size and stature of your program directly links you and impacts the level of candidate that you can go and get. TCU is not a candidate for Kyle Whittingham. TCU's not a candidate for Lane Kiffin or like the top head coaches in the game. That's not the case. Like, you're just not going after those guys. So my point is that, listen, if TCU fan James, you want to live on that, okay, fine. But I'm just telling you, you have to understand that the expectation should be that TCU is winning the conference, that you're in the CFP, that you're actually helping this conference move forward. And listen, I'm all here for, and we'll get to this at some point. It's not even a priority now, but the conference championship game thing that's been bandied about, Bronco talked about over the weekend, several guys have spoke on it, you know, not having the conference championship game anymore. If TCU fan wants to die on that hill too, I'm fine with that, dude. We can get rid of that if you just want to play a regular season like that. But let's not make excuses around lack of performance with Sonny, dude. You mismanaged that Josh Hoover relationship, something terrible. And then you double down on that, criticizing him publicly, only to have Cignetti ratio the hell out of you in your program, you know, when he was like, hey, he's finally getting coaching and finally understanding what it looks like. And again, you want to talk about guys making a jump? Don't be surprised if Josh Hoover goes out and wins a Heisman under Cignetti, because I wouldn't be at all, even a little bit.
And I will just continue to say, you changed your signs to the point where you played yourself, fool. Didn't you guys lose? And this is Sonny Dykes' record by year.
Okay.
Just so that we're clear.
Okay.
Didn't you guys lose? Like, you got boat raced by Georgia in that 2022 national championship game. But look at Sonny Dykes at SMU. 0-1, 5-7, 10-3. 7-3, then 8-4. We're going to move on. 13-2. 5-7, 9-4, 9-4.
I must be seeing this wrong, Monty. Maybe this is my vision. I got to get checked. I apologize. But this graphic appears to show that Sonny's been coaching for 16 years at this point and has, let's see, 1 and 2 double-digit win seasons out of 16. And we're supposed to believe that this guy's elite? Come on, dude.
Ask Cal fans what they think of Sonny Dykes.
Come on, dude.
Now, Cal's got systematic issues, obviously with the layoffs recently, but Sonny Dykes is a mediocre ass coach. You should have kept Gary Patterson.
And while you're bringing up Gary Patterson, I'd also like to point out that 2022 team was Gary Patterson's recruiting job. Just want to point that out for all those TCU defenders. So just saying.
You know, my opinion is that I just don't understand the love of Sonny Dykes and why, but this is who Oak State James is. You choose to die on his hill. I'm getting my COC at Texas State, certificate of charting.
Bro, dude.
Sonny Dykes' first year as head coach at TCU in 2022. TCU went 12-0 in the regular season. Then they lost the Big 12 championship game and got absolutely destroyed by Georgia in the Natty and never have recovered. 65-7. Yes.
65-7, dude.
The great mysteries of college football. Why TCU and Nebraska extended Dykes and Rule. Is Norvell really on the hot seat? And what teams will come before TCU, Oak State, James next? Exactly.
Well, Rule, I think Rule is a little bit more explainable. I think if you're Nebraska, you're sitting there and you're saying, okay, we're not a college football powerhouse in the modern era. I understand, you go back 20, 30 years, different story, but in the last 10, 15 years, Nebraska hasn't been a powerhouse. So what you're doing with Matt Rule is you're basically saying, okay, cool. Like we have this certain level of success right now, but we're probably not willing to invest at the level we need to, go out and win a national championship. And by the way, I'd also like to point out, you're raking in Big Ten cash right now, being an absolute ass team in the conference. So there's not exactly an incentive to go out and lower the profit margin, which again,
yeah, I don't disagree.
Just good enough, but not good.
Ken Maynor, as much of a dumpster fire as UNC was last year, I expect them to be better. There's actually good things coming out of Chapel Hill football, which is interesting. Calamoni.
I'm not talking about that.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Calamoni gifted 20 Monty Show memberships.
Oh, okay.
Are you hopeful with Tosh Lapoy? Because obviously money is an issue at Cal. There were, if you guys didn't see it, they had significant layoffs. Like financially, Cal Berkeley is struggling. And I think it's tough when you look at the issues at Cal are systemic. I mean,
yeah.
But is Tosh Lapoy the guy that, don't remind me of the 2013 1-11 season?
Right? Like,
I'm just telling you.
It's just incredible. Like, I can't get away from it. And maybe Sonny deserves credit for it. I mean, the ability to have two double-digit win seasons in 16 seasons and be regarded as elite by the fan base is incredible.
I don't understand it at all. I don't understand. And I want to make this clear. Sonny Dykes is a really good dude. He is a really good dude. But you look at the fact that he's 36-17 at TCU, and 13 of those 36 wins were in one season. I mean, that is crazy. And what happens if you put up just another average ass Alamo Bowl appearance?
You'll be fine. You won't get fired. And this is the point. This is what I'm saying is that these schools, Matt Rule, Sonny Dykes. Like,
Yep.
look at these different schools, dude. Oh man, we're a 8-9 win team. We're just good enough to make our fans feel like they got to be in the building for all our home games because we'll be in that game. But man, we're just not quite good enough to get over the hump. Maybe next year, man. Oh, maybe next year. But the problem is there's never really a next year. It's just the same year over and over again. And this is the great conundrum in LA, right? With Lincoln. Is like
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley has this credibility from Oklahoma. And yes, he's got the #1 recruiting class in the country. And yes, there's a lot of talent. That's undeniable. There's no question about it that USC has pretty much the most talented recruiting class that you could get.
Yes.
But what does that look like on the field? And what is USC's temperament around not being in the CFP versus TCU's or Nebraska's or anybody else's? Well, USC's clearly is not giving him much of a leash. Like, if it doesn't get done this year, I think most people think he's going to get moved on, which would be tough.
Yeah. And I agree with Mike. Many schools just don't have or don't want to put the resources into their head coach the way some of the big boys do. How many schools in this country could chase Lane Kiffin the way that LSU did?
Yeah, very few. And I'd like to caveat that by saying how many schools could chase Lane Kiffin the way LSU did after your governor said that you wouldn't do what you did.
Governor?
Like, come on, dude.
Come on, dude. I think it's a very interesting question. So, all right, let's keep rolling. Do you guys believe that players should have collective bargaining? Before we get to the meat of Diana Rossini's story, the pause was intentional. Do you guys believe that players in college football should have, and really it'd have to be college sports across the board, but do you believe they should have the right to unionize and collectively bargain? I think it is the only way college football can survive.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you look at the financials of college athletics, you quickly understand college football pays the bills. So I don't like, yeah, sure, it would apply to all sports, but this conversation's around college football. And how do you best monetize college football so that the chess club can continue? And I think that to me is what's difficult because it doesn't pay the bills the way it used to be an 8 or 9 win team. Going to a bowl game is not what it used to be. And I just think that, again, if I had a magic wand and I could fix college football, I would cut the legs out from half of these conferences. I'd take the top half of all these conferences, put them in their own pool, let them play at a much higher level monetarily, and they would kind of have their own setup. And then I'd take the bottom half of all these conferences, including the Big 12 and the SEC, and I'd throw them in with the G6, and I'd create a lower tier that has a lot more competition. And the winner of that tier gets to bump up and play in the upper tier. I just think that structure can work, and you can collectively bargain the entire system around a structure like that. And the problem is, again, though, that there are too many cooks in the kitchen, which brings me back to the point of I just think it's an inevitability that at some point, I don't know when, don't know how long it's going to take, but at some point, there's got to be something that sort of fractures the current system we have to the point where it's like, we got to get in a room today and hammer this thing out. Like, we got to get in a room with all the leaders in college football and get something done. But I don't know what that is. It doesn't exist currently. And that's why I say, like, Greg Sankey can be out here beating people over the head with solutions, but if they don't want the solutions, what good are the efforts? You know what I mean? Like, you're selling something to people that they don't want, that they don't care to hear about.
Should you be able to restrict the movement of college football players?
No, I don't think you should be able to restrict it. I think that you should be able to enforce contracts. Hey, if the player's going to sign a contract, if the player's going to commit, then yeah, you should be able to restrict them at that point. But there shouldn't be Like, I don't think that we should ever be in a place where, there's limited free agency, if you will. I think there should be a window, just like there is in the NFL. If you're going to do an NFL model, like, do the NFL model, have a window.
It's the Sorsby situation at Texas Tech.
Yes, precisely.
And the last I checked, and I probably should have checked this before I said this, but I don't believe that Brendan Sorsby has paid his buyout. And I'm very interested to see, I don't believe he should be able to enroll at Texas Tech until his contract is satisfied. I don't believe that he should be there.
Well,
the idea that, because when did they sue him? Like January or February?
Yeah, like 2 months ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't see a story where he's paid them.
Well,
and I don't see a
issue, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't see a story where that's been resolved. Cincinnati's seeking $1 million buyout and liquidated damages from Sorsby for the quarterback violating a multi-season revenue sharing agreement with the university. Sorsby transferred to Texas Tech with one season remaining on a revenue share agreement with Cincinnati that included $1 million buyout clause. A lawsuit filed Wednesday by Cincinnati in U.S. District Court in the Southern District of Ohio's Western Division. It says in July 2025, Sorsby, while represented by a professional agent, signed an 18-month, 2-season name, image, and likeness agreement with Cincinnati, and Cincinnati agreed to pay Sorsby a substantial amount with the expectation that it would realize the majority of the benefits during the following season, 2026, after Sorsby's play developed and his brand grew. And he bailed on them. The lawsuit also states that Sorsby, quote, promised to pay to the university $1 million in liquidated damages if he transferred to another university before completion of the agreement's full term. And he has not paid it. I just don't see how you are able to, allow him to play at Texas Tech?
Got me, dude. Got me. And literally speaking, because there's no enforcement. That's the problem. But at some point, bro's going to have to show up in court and be accountable, because contract law is very straightforward. This is the inconvenient truth for Pac-12 fan. This is what we've bandied about on the show for years now, that contract law is very simple and often inconvenient for those who don't want it applied to them. So if he signed a contract, and again, I haven't put my eyes on his contract, I don't know. You got to see what the exact verbiage says and what they can do. But if he signed a deal that said, hey, if I leave inside of an 18-month window, I owe you guys $1 million, and then you left inside the 18-month window, you owe them $1 million. That's the essence of a contract, dude. And again, the fact that you did it with an agent says that you weren't under duress, like there were no issues, you were good to go. So that's why I'm saying, man, I think that this whole conversation around player movement and what should be what, it's not that difficult. It's as simple as listen, the collective bargaining thing should happen just for enforcement alone. That's the problem, is that there isn't a body that right now today can step in and say, nope, you're not going to Tech. You are not to be on campus or officially enrolled or talking to anybody until you cut that check. And if you don't cut that check, you're going to be at Cincinnati. And if you don't want to be at Cincinnati, you can sit at home. But that doesn't exist yet, as much as they want to tell you it does.
Yeah. I think this is why you need it. This is why you need it. Let's say the P4 leadership decides they want a super league in order to get the NFL style mode. There would be at the very least one ego that would throw a monkey wrench into it. No, I think the commissioners are aligned. I think the problem is most of the people in the Big 12 don't want to do that. That's my guess. Alex, the Frogs won. Tell me another Big 12 team that has won a playoff game. What's that got to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? Just out of curiosity, what is another team winning a playoff game have to do with TCU making a terrible decision on Sonny Dykes? Is it Joe Biden's fault? Or excuse me, Joe Biden's fault? That's what this is. This is yeah, anyway. An injunction to keep him playing for another team until the money has been paid back or an agreement for payment towards the full amount, breach of contract. You can't issue an injunction, especially to a guy that injunction allows you to cover an entire season. You can't. I just don't think he shouldn't be allowed to be enrolled there.
Yeah, the hypocrisy of we're Texas Tech and we've got a war chest and we're going to outspend everybody only to not pay $1 million buyout is hilarious to me. It's incredible.
Yeah. Jay Chapman, watch out, Monty. Cody Campbell will sue you for slander.
I'm sure he will, dude.
Haven't slandered him. If you haven't fulfilled your contract stipulations, you shouldn't be able to transfer and enroll in another school.
Yet, here we are, dude.
Dykes is a good coach. He went out and got a good OC. What does that matter? What does that matter? You won't answer the very basic question. What is, and what does Texas Tech have to justify keeping Sonny Dykes? You're not a college football playoff team. Plain and simple. I respond to another person in the chat. He reads it out of context and I'm in the wrong. You're always in the wrong about this. What did I read out of context?
It's your opinion, is it not?
What did I read out of context?
So wait, let's go back to his last comment. Just to review, just really quick, 2 minutes. So wait, you're saying that we took this out of context. Rock and rant. So we read that part the first time. We know you're responding to Rock and Rant. Dykes is a good coach. Just stop right there. Is that not your opinion? Have you not had the long-standing opinion that Sonny Dykes is a good coach and should be extended and should have been extended, deserved that extension? That's definitely been your opinion. That's not my opinion. That's facts based on what you've said day after day after day since the extension.
It's pretty much nobody's opinion but yours.
Yeah, so we know that to be the case. Then you said he went out and got a good OC. They will be better this year. I could take the last portion of this comment, copy and paste it into our channel, and I'm sure you've said that like 30 times over the last shows that we've done, dude. So don't sit here and say that we took your comment out of context. Don't sit here and mischaracterize what we said.
Yeah, wait. Just as simple as, how is that taking your comment out of context?
Like, what do you mean, dude? This is your opinion of Sonny Dykes. This is what you've been consistent on this.
Why? Marcus has a very direct question. Why do you give this bro James so much airtime? He is rarely correct and he has no frame of reference.
Because it's fun.
Does he understand they barely beat Michigan and got humiliated in the national championship game and then have been a non-factor since the moment they stepped off the field in the national championship game? They have been a non-factor. In fact, quite invisible in a pretty shitty conference. I would agree with that. Pretty invisible.
So again, I ask, why do you think he's a good coach? Why do you think he should have got that extension? That's what I don't get.
I don't think he's always wrong. I just think that James is the typical fan who wants to die on hills. You want to die on a hill. And it's always SMU and Preston Stone. It is
clean cut.
It is always Anthony Davis. I bought his jersey. He's going to be amazing. And then he never plays for the Mavericks. You just pick the wrong hills to die on. And we give you the answer before we ask the question, and you still get it wrong.
You have so much runway to put yourself in a good position, and yet you never seemingly can, dude.
Do you pay James to post this BS?
Oh,
No.
yeah, dude. Bro, we take the Gloria Nevarez budget that we allegedly get, and we just send that right to James, dude. That's how it works, bro.
How do you think he
all works.
affords brisket sandwiches at Buc-ee's all the time?
Yeah, right? I mean, come on.
You know, James, they don't take your comment out of context at all, and you can put that on the record. Oh, God. James came in here last week or 2 weeks ago and was like, it's on the record. I said it on YouTube.
I said it on YouTube last week, brother. This is why, dude. Marcus, this is why right here, dude. This type of material out of other commenters is why doing the show is fun, bro. Like, we are not the only ones who didn't forget about the on the record part out of James, dude.
Yeah, FTR, TBH on the record.
Right. OTR. Yeah, right.
It's fine. The jealousy and hate for James is just wrong. You guys should quit being haters.
I know, dude. We're just hating so hard, and the accusations of us taking things out of context. I mean, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's fine. David Persons, who's actually a Texas Tech fan.
No, TCU fan.
TCU fan, excuse me. Who's actually a TCU fan. James, sorry, but I have to challenge you here. Better this year is the entire issue. We will win the CFP should be the expectation.
Oh, real TCU fan dropping bombs in the chat, dude.
Exactly. TCU and Texas Tech embarrassed the Big 12 in the playoffs while Miami wins meaningful games and slugged it out with Indiana.
Agreed.
Exactly right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't a key issue an NIL contract at Cincinnati can't prohibit Texas Tech from doing X? Do we need all P4 schools to have an agreement to comply to NIL at other schools? Collectively bargained.
Yeah, that's the systemic issue. You are correct, Tom, that there's not, that's what I was saying, is that there's no enforcement. There is a piece of paper that says what you should do, right? There's a document out there that says, hey, this is what you should do if you're operating in good, moral ethics, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is no enforcement, which means that Sorsby's going to go to Tech and not pay the $1 million and not think twice about it. And if you're paying attention, they're flaunting the hell out of them, dude. They're making all kinds of videos and putting them on Twitter. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I saw over the weekend, oh, Brendan Sorsby season at Tech has begun, and we're officially in Brendan's time, and
right.
God bless Brendan. Like, dude, shut up, bro. Like, you guys act like this guy's going to go out and just be the savior of Tech. Do I think the guy's good? Yeah, he's a solid quarterback. But the guy hasn't played in a game of consequence. Like, you have no idea. Nobody can factually say that Brendan Sorsby in a CFP game against a team like Oregon, let's say, just for a direct comp, is going to make that much of a difference to where you'd win that ball game. You cannot say that. Can you say that maybe he'll be better than Baron Morton? Sure. With all due respect to Baron, I don't feel like that's saying a whole hell of a lot. Like, no. We need to see what Sorsby in that offense actually looks like and just how far he can take it inside of the scheme.
James is like AI. He has evolved. He has learned not to pay for chat, only to still get blasted for it.
Okay. New account name, GPT James, right?
Could be. Alex, I think James wants us to admit that Sonny Dykes is the best head coach in college football just because one good season.
I'm not willing to do it. And that's
we
the
should
difference.
Do it. FTR, James, that means for the rectum.
Oh,
As a friend of the show, you might be happier this year being an Oak State James again instead of TCU James. Just putting that on YouTube for the record. Far higher ceiling.
Yeah, be a mess maker guy, dude. Why don't you do that, right? Like go out and be Drew for president, instead of dying on the Sunny Hill. I mean, that's probably a better play in spring ball than the Sunny route.
And listen, I'm going on the record. If TCU wins the national championship this year, I'll refund all these tariffs to you. Okay, I mean, I'll just go full Donnie and start.
His money.
Yeah, I'll just go full Donnie and start refunding everybody their tariffs, but only to James.
Do we have to lose?
Yeah, but only to James. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I struggle with fan bases like James because you're just so willing to. Oh, Ollie Gordon got a DUI. He's just going to run some stairs, Monty.
And we were saying that.
Like it's that take, James. When Ollie Gordon got a DUI at Oklahoma State, Oak State James at the time, he was an Oklahoma State fan. Now he's a TCU fan. Seaman and Demon and all that.
MDiv and yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But now he's a TCU fan.
Yeah.
But at the time, he was an Oak State fan. And he was in here running smack about how Ollie Gordon was going to run stairs and it'll be fine. Well, he doesn't need to miss game time. Have him run some stairs. That's the apathy that we can't have. I'm going to call it the Big 12 will be the first P4 conference to lose a playoff game to a G6 opponent. Ooh. That could be interesting. James has a fatal flaw. His ability to curse anyone he talks good about. The more he champions Sonny, the more he curses TCU.
I mean, the blacklisting is well documented, dude. I mean, there's no
Hall of
question
Fame
about
level
it.
type stuff.
Yeah.
VJ Rajput Company. Okay.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck are you?
Well, there you go, and you got filtered.
Instant filter for the emojis, dude.
That's fine.
Okay, in the comments section, should I add a whiteboard in my background titled James Blacklist? And every time he blacklists something new, just turn around and write down like the Cubs, Preston Stone's D, should there be a whiteboard for that? I mean, I could go full chalkboard if you guys want, but I just wanted to see if that would be a valuable contribution to you guys in the day-to-day,
Whoa, James, hot takes are part of the show now. Apparently. Jay McClanahan, as long as Oak TCU James doesn't pick West Virginia to win a game or be his team, it's all good. There you go. That's right. Notre Dame has a history of losing to G6 teams, just not in the playoffs.
Right.
Well, at least we're not a G6 team never mind. Wait, I'm being blasted by Monty. I keep making comments because I thought Monty was seeing the light. Texas State James.
Look, Texas State James. We're not trying to take your comment out of context, okay? We're trying to work on that. So we're not trying to quote blast you or we're not seeing the light. We're not doing that. We're just working to not take things out of context now. So,
I would agree. Oh,
yeah.
My poor dog.
And we're going to get to that today. Yeah.
My little buddy's sitting over here with a cone of shame on.
If you guys really want to kick it, we'll flow.
Is the vet a scam? So we go out of town. I put my dog in boarding.
Which is a really nice boarding place, FTR.
On the record. We're flying home and I start getting text messages from the boarding people. Hey, your dog's face is all f***ed up. And they're sending me pictures. And he's got a little swelling on his face. And it's expanded the last few days. So the first thing we're worried about is, well, maybe it's a tooth. And we were like, oh man, $1,500 for a tooth. Like, are we going to pay that?
Tough, bro.
We're going to put little buddy in the ground and just call it a day.
You can't tell me that was ever a consideration for Mrs. Monty.
No. But we were running through the scenarios. So finally we get there, we pick him up. And it didn't hurt him to touch it. Like you could touch it, but if you pressed on it, it hurt. And I thought right away it was a spider bite, was the thing that came to my mind. But we didn't know. So do you take him to the vet? Or do you just bring him home and hope for the best?
Okay, what goes into that decision, right? Because obviously the money portion is the first thing, but I have to imagine, like, again, the timing of everything, there's a lot at play here.
The only thing that came to mind was how much pain is he in?
Mm-hmm.
I have a really good dog. He's 13 years old. He's happy. He's healthy. He's in great health. Everything's great. He doesn't deserve to live in pain. So we took him to this emergency vet. And at the end of the day, it turned out he wasn't using his Accutane and he got a zit that was totally infected. Because apparently he's been eating a lot of greasy fried food lately. It's an acne joke with a dog. They think it was either a spider bite or something, a bug bite. They charged us $1,450 at the end of the day. It turned out to be $1,450.
Bro, dude.
To put him under, lance this thing on his face. It's an abscess. Drain all the pus out and stick a forceps in there and see if anything else was in there. There wasn't. So we wound up paying $1,450 because he's got what amounts to a sack of fluid on his face. And the part that hurt my balls was on the phone. The lady's like, and it could come back.
Bro, what?
And it could come back, which just sucks. $1,450.
So essentially he goes to doggy daycare, picks something up, and it costs you $1,400.
I don't think it's the boarding facility's fault. I think he probably was playing with the dog and maybe he got scratched. Maybe he got a bug bite, a spider bite, because it was red. It was a big bump and it had a red top on it.
Yeah.
And so that was my guess, but
okay, so you were telling me they said it was like a 3-hour procedure or whatever they had to do, and you wind up picking him up at like midnight or whatever.
So I land at 5:00. We roll into this joint at 6:00. We were there for 3 hours. And for the first 10 minutes, they were looking at him. Then for the next hour and a half, they never said 2 words to us. Then they came over and they were like, okay, let's bring him over here. They gave him a shot of painkiller. Then like an hour and a half later, they came over, put him on a table, stuck a tongue depressor inside his mouth so they could see what it was. It wasn't attached to a tooth. She said it was compartmentalized to the cheek, the soft tissue. And they were like, yeah, let's do an ultrasound real quick. And so they ultrasounded it, and you could see there was a cavity full of fluid. She's like, we need to cut that thing open. Let me send you an estimate. But my question is, did we make a mistake going to the vet?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I'd call it a mistake. I think that dogs are the best of times, man. They are. We don't deserve them, and they deserve the best. And I think that, I think it's a judgment call. I mean, we were kind of texting about it a little bit last night. I mean, clearly you guys felt it was a bad enough situation to take him in. I mean, obviously, if you felt like it could wait, you probably would have waited, but you didn't feel like it could wait, so you took him in. It does suck that it took you sitting there for 3 hours. I mean, I am a little surprised.
So we were there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Then we were home for 2 hours. And they called around midnight and were like, hey, it's done. Or I guess it was around 11. I had just fallen asleep. And they said, hey, he's done. Come get your, Bohica.
Yeah.
And we went and picked him up, and they gave us the medicine to take home and this, and his face is all gashed. And I remember looking at the clock at 12:37. I think I probably got, I don't know what my watch says, but I probably got 3 hours of sleep last night.
Yeah.
Just brutal. And it's like, I only took him to the vet because I was worried it was his tooth. That's why I took him to the vet. Because I was concerned about his tooth. Oh, geez, Louise.
Yeah, well, I was going to say,
2 hours and 56 minutes of sleep last night.
Yeah, that's nap time, lunchtime nap for sure, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't think it was a mistake. I tend to agree that I don't feel like most times you don't really have a choice when it comes to your dog, man. Like you gotta get him taken care of. Because okay, let's say that you hadn't taken him in, what were you gonna do? You were gonna give him. You could have given him like a Benadryl or something to kind of knock him out for the night and make sure that he sleeps, that kind of deal. And then you could have slept, and then you would have been having to deal with it today. But obviously, there are responsibilities on a weekday, that we all have to do as adults. So working and doing the things that we have to do, it's not ideal. So it's do you get 2 hours of sleep and just deal with it and go to bed at 7 tonight and recover? It's not an easy choice, but I don't really feel like you had much of a choice.
Yeah, I was worried it was his tooth. And I think it's worth the money to make him happy and healthy and to make sure it's not something. But the conversation we did have is, how much would you wind up investing in it? I had no idea this would be $1,500. He's 13 years old. At what point is it too much?
And I would like to say too, just to give the chat perspective, all the viewers perspective, he's 13 years old and doing extremely well.
The vet
moves well,
very active. The vet, she called him a puppy, and she's like, I didn't know he was 13 years old.
Yeah, the guy, he is.
He is
doing
health.
exceptionally well. I would not be surprised, even in the slightest, if bro had another 5 years in him. Wouldn't he all be surprised, even a little bit?
Yeah, well, we vacillated between $5,000, $3,000.
I mean,
if it was $5,000, if it was
$5,000,
$5,000, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, probably not $5,000. No, I mean, I think 3,000 is kind of that. I feel like that line in the sand moment where you're like, all right, what are we now? We need to look at options. So if it's $3,000, all right, I'm going to need the doctor to tell me how much pain is he in, what kind of management can we do short term to make this a little better for him. I'm going through all the options before I'm just signing off on $3,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I just am so glad it wasn't a tooth. Yeah, dude, it's miserable. Having had wisdom teeth, and it's brutal. I feel you, man, about the vet bill, but I pay for that bill before I go see my own doctor about cancer. Dogs are the best. They really are.
Of course. And it's this whole thing where it's you as a dog owner, you obviously want the best for your dog. And you, as a dog owner, of course, you don't want your dog to be miserable or suffer or do anything more than they need to do. And so it's just tough, bro. I think I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you had more confidence in the moment that it wasn't his tooth, you probably would have waited a day or
I
two
would have
just to kind of
waited.
see. Yeah.
I would have waited.
Yeah. So
Because I didn't feel like he was in extreme pain. Because he let me touch it.
mhm.
And I could kind of, yeah, I don't know. I'm not upset we did it. I'm really not. Owning pets is definitely more expensive than ever. I kind of feel they know they can scam you out of your money. I spent $3,000 getting my dog's hips fixed. Ugh, damn. I don't know that it's a scam. I just feel like it's a lot of money. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know that it's a scam, but I do agree with Brandon's sentiment that, like, just as an easy math example, like if the procedure costs the vet $100, they know for sure they can charge you like $500 and they can make profit on that. And
This is a huge hospital.
yeah.
It's an emergency room for animals.
Mhm.
And they had to have a dozen employees in there. That's not cheap. And multiple vets, multiple nurses running around this room just taking care of animals. And dude, there were animals in there that swallowed a stick hole, had a very large kidney stone, ate something toxic on a walk. Like, it's crazy the stories you see people come in with.
Yeah.
But
Bigger the animal, worse the problem, dude. That's the general rule of thumb.
And I just don't know the dollar amount. I would not put him through, if it was some kind of mass or growth and it required more than just removal, I wouldn't put him through that. I also think at his age, recovery is probably tougher.
Mhm.
It will make me a little more hesitant to put him in boarding. Even though we have a really good boarding facility.
I think that I think that when you put your dog in boarding, there is always that risk of them, picking up something, kennel cough, fleas. You just never know what it's going to be. You guys do have actually a really nice boarding facility that he stays in. It's modern.
You have to
It's
be
well
vaccinated.
kept.
You have to be clean.
Yeah.
He gets his teeth cleaned there. He gets a bath, the nails trimmed. Like, they do all of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
So, I mean, I would agree. It's probably not their fault. I just think that it's an inherent possibility when because I mean, there are times when, like, we've seen, you've shown me, they provide you a video feed. They have these different rooms that they keep different dogs in.
Live cameras when your dog's there. They
so,
sent
like,
me
there
a
have been
picture every
times,
day.
dude, there have been times where he's in there and there's like 30 other dogs in there. Like, it's
Always packed.
Yeah, it's general pop, if you will. So, I mean, it's not surprising that he may have picked something up.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, I agree. You don't have a choice.
But the days spent in the cone of shame are never fun for your dog. So that's unfortunate.
I had pet insurance that helped cover double knee replacement for $12,000, only paid $1,400. We were driving home last night. And my wife said, do you pay $99 a month every month for pet insurance? And then they're going to fight you on what they'll cover?
No.
Knock on wood. He's had this issue one time. And now he's trying to take his cone off. God damn it. He's had one issue in years. I mean, but the thing I worry about is we watched our other dog, my dog Rhino, who died in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
We watched him slowly deteriorate.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want this dog to go through that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting case study. I do think that his experience will be different because of where you guys live in the daily routine. He gets a lot of movement on the regular, and you also, not that Rhino didn't, but I just think that I just think that he's still doing so well. He doesn't have almost any physical ailments or issues. Like, I don't want him to go through that either, but I really would be surprised if he didn't have, he's got, I mean, minimum, he's got another 3 really solid years at this level left.
I agree.
I mean, I understand the numbers high, but we all know this, right? Like with dogs, I'm a big believer, dude. People who feed their dogs crap food legitimately take years off the dog's life. I think if you, rather than paying for pet insurance, if you simply would just, and this is what you guys do, but generally, like if you would just feed your dog really high quality food and incur that cost and then get them weekly exercise, dude, they'll live and be happy and be chilling for, probably decade and a half.
Yeah, he eats fresh pet and he gets 3 walks a day. He walks several miles a day.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, he's in a really good spot.
He's active. He jumps up and down on benches outside, and we play little games with him where he sprints, and he's in good shape. Yeah. Midweek Coug. Emergency vets and emergency hospitals both charge you up the arse. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Opportunistic.
Yeah. Vets expensive. Emergency vets more expensive. Where Monty lives more expensive. Showing up in the middle of a crisis, neon luxury car. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh yeah, bro rolled up in a luxury German. Yeah, that's gonna be about $2,000 instead of 500. Yeah,
I think dude. Pet insurance is a scam.
Insurance generally is a scam, dude.
Yes.
Like the only reason any of us have car insurance is because it's the law, dude. It's ridiculous.
And this is not even because they're our partner on the show, but this is why you need people like the advocates.
Oh my God, dude. Airport incident over the weekend, bro. Dude, talking about the advocates, we got to tell this story too.
Okay, so I rented a car. God damn it. I rented a car. Jake got in after me on Friday in Las Vegas. I dropped my wife off at the hotel. She's going to a pool and swim day with her family. We go to Las Vegas because the Wizard of Oz is at the Sphere. My wife, her mom, and her sister all go see the Wizard of Oz. That was the main reason for the trip. I dropped my wife off. I had some errands to run. I went and had to pick up a replacement warranty shaft for one that I broke on my driver. I went and got a couple of polo shirts, and then I was really tired. So I said, okay, you know what? Jake gets in an hour and a half. I'm going to go to the cell phone lot and take a nap because I was really tired. I go and I miss the turnoff for the cell phone ramp. And the airport is crazy busy. I go around to try and get to short-term parking, which I'd already passed. Because I was then like, okay, well, it's hot in Vegas today. I'm just going to park inside and take a nap. And I'm driving to go around the loop, and all these cops are coming up behind me on the left. So I moved over a lane to let the cops pass. Well, there's this dude driving an Xfinity SUV who didn't move over right up until he did. And I don't think we actually made contact, but it doesn't matter because this dude lost his shit. He came so far over, I had to swerve out of the way to miss him. And then that put me on this off ramp to the freeway away from the airport. And so I had to loop around. It took me half an hour. I find this guy parked on the side of the road. I pull over. It's a 2-lane ramp. So I have to cross 2 lanes of very busy traffic, jump over a median to go and talk to him. Does not speak English very well at all. And he's telling me how I'm going to jail. It was a hit and run. You took off. And I said to the guy, well, I'm standing here. And I said, I called the police. They're not coming out. Didn't know why they wouldn't come out, but they said, hey, is there damage? I said, no. Is anybody hurt? I said, no. They said, okay, well, then you guys need to exchange information and drive away. Okay, so I try to do that. This guy's yelling and screaming like, and I said to him, and he's sitting in the driver's seat of his car, pointing to his front right wheel. Like, look at all the damage you did. He said, destroyed the car. I'm like, have you gotten out and looked at it? He's rolled his passenger window down. Like, have you gotten out and looked at it? No. So he gets out and looks at it, and there's zero damage on his car. And now we're standing there, and the guy's literally yelling at me, and I actually laughed at him because he was so pissed off. And then an airport security vehicle rolls up. And this dude gets out of the thing, and he's like, what are you guys doing here? You can't sit here. You need to move. We're on a security lockdown because the president is taking off. You need to move.
Oh.
So apparently Donald Trump was in Las Vegas on Friday. And that police presence we saw drive by was a security detail. He was loading onto Air Force One, leaving at that time. Which is why, and the airport security guy's like, yeah, no cops are coming. The airport's on lockdown. Nobody's coming out. And the guy starts yelling, the driver starts yelling at the security guy. To the point where the guy said, if you don't stop yelling and get in your car and leave, I'm going to have the sheriff from Clark County come and arrest you. What do you want to do? And the guy says, the guy starts going on and on and on about how, well, I've got to pay for a car wash. And so the security guy said something like, are you willing to pay him to get a car wash so we can go on about our lives? I said, sure. And the guy said that the Uber guy's like $100. And the security guy laughed at him and said, he's going to Venmo you $35 and we're not going to hear another thing about this. And so the security guy said, you guys have 5 minutes. I'm going to do a loop. And if I come back here, I'm going to be here with the sheriff and you're both going to jail. And so I said, hey, I'm trying to leave. Good. I said, give me your Venmo. I'll send you $35 right now. And the guy's like, no Venmo. I'm like, what about Zelle? No Zelle. You come to gas station, give me cash, just like that. And then the security guy heard him say that and walked back over to me and was like, don't go to the gas station and don't give this guy any cash. He's trying to scam you. And I was like, okay. And the guy says to me, I see this all the time. Walk away. And he turned around and walked back to his car. I jumped over the guy gave me his phone number because he miraculously turned out to be on Zelle at that point. Gives me his phone number and I drive away. And he's like, you meet me at the gas station. He drove away. I drove away. I never went into the gas station. I tried to call him several times. Jake was in the car when I actually talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
None of the numbers he gave us were on Zelle. It was a complete scam.
Yeah, it's a complete scam job.
Yeah.
And the dude's like, oh, I'm going to call the police. And he's like threatening Monty. And the whole time I'm just sitting there laughing at this guy because he's got nothing. You have no damage to your car.
None.
You're not on Zelle or Venmo. You're threatening somebody with calling the police who's in a rental car that you most likely don't have the plates for.
Yeah, Jake is telling me just hang up on the guy.
Just hang
up on the
damn
guy.
Phone up,
hang up
dude.
on
what
the
are
guy.
we even doing? I literally, I was like, dude, hang up, bro. Don't talk to this guy anymore.
Well, I did. I didn't send him any money or any of that. And I took video of my rental car before when I returned it.
Yeah, and did the rental car company say anything?
No.
No, nothing.
Nope.
Nope.
Nothing. Nada. Zip.
Because there was no damage and there was nothing to be seen.
Nope.
And so I'm sitting here going through this and I'm like, this guy's threatening to call the cops and he's on the phone with Monty and he's like, police report. I'm going to file a police report. And I literally would have said, knock yourself out, call the cops, do what you do. I've tried to pay you 3 times. You won't provide me a valid number on Venmo or Zelle to contact you at. And the guy's like, oh, well, my friends can Zelle me. Well, it's just you that can't. And I'm like sitting here, Monty's driving us to wherever we were going at that point, the course or whatever. And I'm like typing this guy's number and it doesn't show up. And I'm like, and you
tried it on your Zelle.
I tried it on my Zelle, your Zelle. And you were like, well, maybe if I add it to my phone. I'm like, no, dude, this guy is A1 tier 1 scammer, bro. You
Yeah.
don't have to have a contact in your phone to be able to Zelle someone. And I know that because I use Zelle regularly with you know,
Cleaning people
or whoever it might be, right? Like I've used it enough to know. And so I just think it's funny that bro driving whatever he drives, taxi, Uber, whatever it was,
Uber
thinks that he can just try to strong arm people over $35, bro. Like this is my point with people right now. Who do you think you are, bro? Who do you think you are dictating to me that I have to pay you money and then I got to meet you somewhere? Yeah, nice try, dude. Not my car, rental car. Everything's insured and covered, even though there's nothing to insure or cover here.
called him on a block number.
Yeah, like I'm just like, dude, sorry, bro. Here, try this, buddy. Here's a hang up. Here's your number blocked. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
You could have had $35. You could have got a free car wash, but instead you wanted to play hardball. No $35. Have a nice day, dude. Like it just is. I don't understand that, and I've been on this lately. Like, don't treat people poorly. If something happens, treat them well. Find a solution. Go about your day. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Just give him $35 worth of taquitos and hummus, dude. Taquitos sound
But
good.
you know how like how much of an a-hole you have to be be like, no, meet me at a gas station. I want an ATM. No, dude, I'm not meeting you at an ATM, bro.
No.
Like, come on, dude. Like, who do you think I am, dude? Like,
Well, see, I feel like I did nothing wrong. He swerved into me. You should have got out of the way. And if you'd have gotten out of the way, nothing would have happened.
and then the guy is like, oh, well, I have dash cam. I have video. Okay, great. Cool. Send the video. It's going to show that you swerved into me and there's no damage. Like you
There's
have nothing, dude.
That's the big thing. There's no damage on either car. What are you claiming? Which is what the security worker at the airport said. There's no incident here. Nobody's hurt. There's no damage. Nothing to report. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. That's it. I feel like the scam, and this is really what I've thought about this incident. I feel like we're always dealing with, almost universally, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you are always having to watch out for scams.
Yes.
It's why I don't use my credit cards or I don't use my debit card ever. I never use my debit card. I only use credit cards.
It's me booking the Turo last month for our California trip, dude. I booked this Turo. Awesome. You know, BMW X6M comp, like it's perfect. Super excited about it. Oh, 3 days before the trip. Oh, yeah, sorry, bro. Car's unavailable. Not going to be able to pay you back. You're going to have to reach out to Turo. Dude, I just, because with Turo, you have to deposit when you rent a certain level of car with Turo. There's a deposit you have to put down to secure the vehicle because it's a certain cost. And so it's like, oh, dude, deposit, can't pay you back. So I had to call Turo. And of course, I get the money back, but it's just that type of thing where it's always like, there's always some kind of game being run, dude. It's incredible.
Everything's a scam in this world. Everything is a scam in this world. I don't know how you trust anything or anybody, you know, and as somebody that's worked in sales for a long time, you hear it all the time. People are like, do you really, how are you? Like, are you really who you say you are? I hear it all the time.
And it makes me for you, I would get a dash cam if I were you. I would absolutely get a dash cam installed in that car, bro. Because now it's like, oh, well, it's no longer a he said, she said at that point. Now I've got it all on video, bro. It's all on video. It's not my opinion. Here's what happened. I got the back view. I got the front view. Like we've got witnesses. Like it ain't even a question anymore. I feel like you almost are obligated to do it now when you drive, which is terrible. You should not have to do that.
And I drive a car where people want to routinely flex on me.
Yeah, they want a piece until they get humbled. And
this was a Volkswagen Atlas that is very pedestrian. So what you were trying to flex on, I have no idea. I always had a dash cam. It's a great investment. You don't have a dash cam anymore? Why'd you get rid of it? Understandable if you do not have a dash cam in a rental, but even the rental companies would be wise to invest in them. I agree.
Agreed completely.
Take the questions out of it, right? Like just take the questions out of it. That's what I would be doing. So, well, there you have it. Yeah. Not only did I play terrible golf in Vegas, we ate great food though. I mean, Nora's Italian cuisine never disappoints. Dude. Even Mastro's was really good.
Yeah.
Mastro's was excellent.
Yes.
I thought it was great. So, and it was nice to be in warm weather. And then I come back to Seattle today. It's 70 and cloudy. Yesterday, when we were driving back from the airport, it was 74 and sunny in Seattle. Tomorrow, 56 and rain.
Paul didn't go in the hoop.
Yeah. Just is what it is. Jeremiah Champion. Haha, wild story. Yeah.
It is, man. Like
I'm at this point, before we get to the NFL draft, I'm at this point where I feel like I love the golf in Vegas. I think it's really good golf. I don't love Vegas anymore. Like,
when you did love Vegas, what did it look like back in the day?
I liked going to shows.
Mm-hmm.
I liked a good meal, and I liked staying in really nice hotel rooms.
Yeah.
But Mandalay, with the incident that happened at Mandalay several years ago, that resort's been ruined for me. I don't like staying there. So I don't. I feel like Vegas is so stupidly expensive. Everything is stupidly expensive.
Yeah.
We went to CES a couple of years ago and had a really good experience staying at a off-strip, I can't remember what Courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed at the Courtyard by Marriott off the strip. Great experience. The casinos, I'm not a gambler anymore. I can't believe that people still smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, it is difficult to walk through a casino like that.
Oh, we were walking through the Bellagio, and you just realize how many people smoke cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. But I actually didn't. Not all my golf was terrible.
No, it's the 2 holes curse, dude. I'm telling you. You're when we play together, you don't play as well as when you play with Mrs. Monty, dude. It's the 2 holes curse, bro. At some point, I'll learn to hit an iron. I don't even know what to. Yeah, I'll learn to hit an iron. Yeah, it's fine. Did you play Bali High? No, we played Las Vegas National and Lake Las Vegas. Reflection Bay was great. Yeah, if I go back to Vegas anytime soon, I'll be playing TPC Summerlin. That's the best course in Vegas, in my opinion, that's public. We were all talking about playing at the Wynn. Dude, I looked at the Wynn a couple of weeks ago. It's $800 for a round of golf per person. Yeah, no. The answer is no. It's so ridiculous. I have to say, I really do. And maybe this is the conversation too about Vegas. Like we have a server, our server Sam at Mastro's that always serves us. We always request her when we go to Mastro's in Vegas. And she doesn't live anywhere near the strip. She just works at Mastro's and has some commitments on the strip and things like that. But there were multiple people. My Uber driver going to the airport yesterday, older gentleman, probably in his 70s, talking about how he lives out by Lake Las Vegas. Like he golfs. He was like, oh yeah, I know the Performance Center and I play Reflection Bay all the time. It's a nice course. Like I feel like most people don't really enjoy the strip for entertainment anymore. They live in Summerlin and Henderson and out in those areas and just use the strip for income. That's it. And I get that. I understand that. I get it. But I don't know, man. We were talking about it driving up to Reflection Bay that I did my nickel upstate in Phoenix, dude. It's just too hot, bro. Like I couldn't see living there full time, bro. It's just too much. Yeah, I could never live in Vegas. I just don't think I could do it.
Jeremiah Champion, I agree with Las Vegas not being that great. It's kind of a tourist trap with people literally shoving things onto you and then asking $50 for a crappy bracelet.
Oh yeah, dude. Walking around is not even enjoyable. I'm constantly looking at who's gonna come after me, or like, this shady guy or that shady guy. Like you're constantly on the lookout, dude. Like, don't have your phone out. Phones and wallets got to be in the pocket or the sling bag. Like, you're constantly looking at people, man. And it's like, I just can't do it, bro. Like, it's just not.
Oh man,
I hate to say it, but it's terrible. Like, if I'm going to take a trip, I know the places that I want to go to enjoy it, and that's about it. Like, I'll do the summer Wrigley trip. I'll do obviously LA. Oh, LA is always a great time, but I don't know, man. The Vegas thing has definitely lost its aura, if you will, which sucks.
Yeah, for you living in Eugene, it's the one direct flight you can get.
Yeah, it's the one direct flight I can get. I want to go to LA. Oh yeah, you can go through Sacramento or Vegas, but you gotta do a 2-leg trip. So it's, it just is. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I oftentimes find myself wishing that things were better, but they're not. Things like Vegas have just gone the wrong direction. Even with the new Hard Rock being built, even with the A's being their ballpark being built there that we saw.
The NBA coming back.
The NBA coming back, right? Like, all these theoretically exciting things, but it's just not. I agree. It's too expensive. I remember many times living in Salt Lake as a youngster, we would take the cheapo Vegas trip, the weekender, the drive down the 15 out to Vegas, and you could do Vegas for it, if excluding a gambling budget. If you're a big gambler, like if you just wanted to go to Vegas, hang out for 2 days, you could probably do that trip for like $1,000 maybe, hotel, food, you go to a show. Okay. Maybe you push it to $1,500, but you could reasonably do that trip, and it wasn't like going to kill you. But now it's, I mean, dude, the hotel room on its own is to stay on the strip is thousands, bro. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't even know how you justify it. Like, I look at like the buffet business in Vegas. I don't even know, are buffets still a thing? I don't even think buffets are still a thing. Like, I used to love the buffet at Mandalay Bay. Like, that was a whole thing. And you just can't even enjoy it anymore. Because there are really, the buffets really died with the pandemic.
Yep.
And they haven't come back.
Yeah.
Man, I used to love a good buffet.
The crazy part too is, like, I don't feel like there's not a thing that's replaced Vegas for people either. It's just people. I'm telling you, like, I think that people just, it's kind of what I've been saying. I just think people are not as invested in traveling as much. People are finding a lot of enjoyment in like at home setup and like doing things locally, and like that's kind of the vibe right now.
I have no desire to go to Vegas. I have plenty to do here locally in North Carolina, mountains, beaches, etc. Yeah.
Imagine you live in North Carolina. You're not flying. What is that? That must be a 4-hour flight to get to Vegas. Probably a 2-leg flight, right? Like, unless you're willing to pay more for a direct flight, you're probably 2 legs there. You're probably flying through, you're either flying through Chicago or maybe Texas or something like that, a Midwestern joint stop, to get to Vegas. Like, that's tough, bro. I don't know. It just doesn't seem that worth it.
I don't disagree at all. I would love a Florida golf trip, but it's so hard to get tee times in like Jupe or Palm Beach.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. Right? Like, but the Virgin Islands are great. I would love that trip. Vegas isn't what it was, but I would still rather go there for a Big 12 basketball tourney than KC. Well, they had huge sports this weekend. WrestleMania, dude. Look, if you're
someone's got to explain it, dude.
If you're a wrestling fan, cool. I don't understand it. I don't get it. There were so many people. So many John Cena shirts, so many CM Punk outfits. Like, I'll never understand it. I understand it's WrestleMania. You're coming from across the country for WrestleMania at Allegiant
Facial
Stadium.
recognition.
Nah, bro. Matchup throwdown. Just got up and tuned in because I was up late shopping for clubs.
Yeah, so bro is
Rolled back to
messaging
watch
me.
the rest of the show.
Dude, bro is messaging me on Instagram yesterday. He hasn't golfed in, I think he said like 10 years. It's been a long time. Used to golf a lot, hasn't golfed in forever. And is messaging me about what approach he should take, whether he should get, budget clubs and like just get back into it, or if he should go club fitting and like buy. And I was like, dude, just get Stratas or get Kirkland or go to Costco and get their offering and find your swing and beat the hell out of those clubs for a little while. And then once you have your swing, then get a fitting, because the great equalizer in golf is buddy with an awful swing, but great equipment will never outperform bro with great fundamentals and bad clubs. And I feel like people have to get on board with this, dude. If you're getting back into the game, don't go out and get a fitting right away. Find your swing first, then go get fit, because when they fit you, they're going to match the clubs to your current swing. And that's what you don't want, is to go get fit on a bad swing, and then have to get refit like 2 years later. That's not ideal.
Yeah, I think we all want to spend big money on clubs, and don't get me started on golf swings. Like, it is so different when you change equipment. Like, I've changed shafts on all of my woods. You have to relearn a lot of how to hit a new shaft. So there is a lot of questions about it, but mainly I just learn the mechanics of a golf swing and then go get clubs. Like, I agree. Get on Amazon and buy a $300 set of Stratas and just go hack away at those things. So, because that's what I did. I played golf as a very young guy, and through my early to mid 20s, like through the early to mid 90s, early 2000s even. And then I didn't play until 5 years ago or 3 years ago now. And dude, there are days where I can't hit a golf ball. It's ridiculous. Trying to learn a new swing. I said it 100 times over the weekend. I'm going to learn this current swing trajectory that I'm on, and then I'm never changing my swing again. I don't care. It's so frustrating to me. I am near Sacramento. We have lots of casinos. Yes, you do. If you gamble, you can get free rooms. Resort fees are ridiculous. Yeah, the free room days are slim. Titleist T350 irons. It depends on what you like. I'm a PXG fan. I think you need, as an average golfer, I don't understand why we as average golfers, like, somebody asked me to settle a dispute over the weekend. They were playing in a friends tournament. We were playing with these dudes.
Yeah.
And they lost a round of golf the day before because their ball landed in a divot and they took it out of the divot. And it's like, why would we not take the ball out of the divot? We're not on the PGA Tour. Take it out of the divot.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Improve your lie every single time. Every single time. I just don't believe in playing it like strict style golf rule. Like, come on. Have some fun with it.
Yeah.
I live 30 minutes from Pinehurst. Great golf here. Dude, I live 30 minutes from Chambers Bay. Tell me about it. You could go to the Bahamas, Atlantis Paradise for a nice tropical style resort, large casino for gambling, and water parks for rides. Yeah. Bahamas is great golf too. I actually didn't want to spend big money on clubs at all, but didn't want to waste money on those sticks. Yeah, I've never met somebody who bought sticks and liked them.
No.
I was looking at, or some other box sets that would be a waste either. Just understand it's an investment.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to play golf.
The first set of clubs you're going to get here, man, are what I would say is don't look at it as you're wasting them. You're gonna get them. You're probably gonna hit them for the first year, and then depending on how willing you are to be disciplined with the practice time you get, your development back into the game could take 6 months. If you just go out there and you hit balls just to hit them, it may take you years. I mean, it's all about how you go about the practice and how willing, just how badly you want to be good. I mean, I would having golf for a little while now, I would categorize anybody who's around a 10 handicap, anywhere in that range. Like if you're a 10 to 13, you're more than good enough to get fit, I think. But you just need to get back out there and get to a point where you can walk up to any course and comfortably play without it being like a big deal. And then once you're at that point, then I would say go get fit. But I really I was actually, you inspired me just to look to see, because I haven't looked since I got fitted because I love my clubs. But Costco offers a Callaway set for like $650.
Yeah.
The Kirkland offering, I actually don't know. I didn't see the Kirkland offering too much online, but it's all over Facebook Marketplace. I'm sure you could probably find them on Amazon. Those were the hot to trot budget buy for a long time because they're knockoff Titleist. So, if you can find them, I think it's a good first set to get.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical about it. One thing real quick. Did you guys see this story that's breaking in LIV Golf?
Oh God. What's the development?
So Bryson DeChambeau withdrew from Mexico. Excuse me, from Mexico City this weekend.
Under injury.
He said he had discomfort in his wrist.
Uh-huh.
Now it is being reported by, I believe it's Brody Miller and The Athletic.
What's up, big bro?
That Bryson DeChambeau was openly talking about meeting with organizations to discuss the possible option if he chose to leave LIV Golf.
Oh.
So Bryson DeChambeau has had open conversations now about walking away from LIV Golf. Even though they're allegedly funded through the end of the year, he's talked about walking away. Does that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me because, the problem for Bryson is that he's good enough to compete with anybody, right? Like Bryson DeChambeau is maybe not right now playing his best golf. I think we saw that. But when he's at his best, he's as good as anybody, dude. He's Cam Young good. He's Scotty good. Like he can play with those guys. He's Rory good. Like he can flat out play with those guys, with anybody. One of the longest hitters in the world. And the problem is that there's no way to dispute the fact, as much as I despise it personally, that adding him back to the tour would be a good idea because of his platform and because of how many golf people like him. So if you're Bryson, you're sitting on a tour that's got funding questions and that doesn't play any relevant golf, doesn't do anything. You're wasting your prime, dude. You're sitting here on a tour doing nothing. You're sitting here playing for nothing and getting embarrassed at the Masters because you don't play enough golf of consequence. I don't know if anybody watched the RBC Heritage over the weekend. Anyone see the playoff between Scotty Scheffler and Matt Fitzpatrick in the absolute ice in his veins shot that Matt Fitzpatrick hit to beat Scotty Scheffler? Like it's that kind of golf that you don't get on LIV ever. And
you kind of wonder how does Matt Fitzpatrick out hit irons over Scotty Scheffler?
Because Scotty tried to get cute. Scotty tried to play a draw with his irons in windy conditions, and he's more of a fader, and he mishit the shot. That's all. He mishit the shot, dude. That's all. And the problem is, and what most people don't understand is they're going to say, oh, well, does that mean that Matty's better than Scotty? Well, no. He was better on
that
day.
Swing. He was.
Yeah, on that swing, but he's still second to Scotty in the FedEx Cup standings, 35 points behind him. So they're 1-2 right now in the championship for the season, but that's the beautiful part about golf. And I just feel like none of these guys who went to LIV, I mean, they grossly underestimated the damage they would do to themselves and their game. And now they're paying the price for that. So I don't feel bad for Bryson, but I completely understand why dude wants to come back to the tour and why they're going to allow him inevitably to come back to the tour. And I'm curious if this is just going to be the Brooks setup all over again, pay your fines, do X, Y, and Z, and then you're back on the tour, or what it'll look like, or if he takes the Patrick Reed approach, So I just think it's.
What do you think will happen?
I think that they will find a way they will get him back to full status as quickly as possible. He will pay fines. He will do what he needs to do, but unlike Brooks Koepka, with all due respect to Brooks, Bryson's in his prime. Bryson's one of the biggest golf stars in the world right now, and the tour would wildly benefit from having him back in it every week. And again, as much as I despise that fact, it is a fact, dude.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Hey, look at that. N Donuts back in the membership. Hello.
Dude.
Okay, there you go. Hey, welcome back to the membership, N Donuts. Appreciate you. Monty having lighting issues. Well, the sun has decided to come out. I'm going to have to, once the summer gets here, I'm going to have to lower my blinds. It's fine. Amazon has a nice set of Wilson clubs for a starter restarter set for sure. No question. No question. All right, couple other things real quick because then we got to roll. Are you guys excited for the NFL draft? Because I think these questions around the NFL draft, I still maintain Ty Simpson's a better quarterback than Fernando Mendoza. But look at this one. Is Caleb Downs going to get outside of the top 10? There's some people saying that he is not grading well amongst NFL folks, which I think is BS.
What are they saying? Like
that he's not special or unique as an NFL prospect.
Please. Uh-huh. Okay. The guy, this is draft hyperbole. I don't believe seeing is believing on this one. Let me put it that way. I don't believe for a second that this dude drops out of the top 10. I think it's more likely, like if I had money, which I don't confuse that. But if I had money to gamble, bro, I would be putting money on the Cardinals taking Ty Simpson at 3 over Caleb Downs sliding outside of the top 10. Because there's no way you're going to look at that dude and you're going to say, yeah, well, this guy's played in scheme after scheme after scheme after scheme the last 7 years of his footballing career, all the way back through high school. And if you look at his career, bro has dominated his position in every single scheme that he's played. And why? Because he's a football junkie, dude. He's a savant of the scheme. He knows how to learn the scheme. He knows how to watch film. He then also knows how to apply that scheme to real world scenarios. This guy is so far ahead of so many of the other secondary options that are available to you in the draft. There's no way and again, I don't know the guy personally. I haven't seen a ton of his more casual film, like him just talking to people or whatever. But you can't tell me this guy did what he did at Ohio State and he's slipping outside. Come on, dude. I would be shocked, bro. Come on.
Okay, so if you feel like that, you don't believe that the Cardinals will draft Jeremiah Love 3rd?
No, I think that they are going to. I think they need a quarterback, dude. They've had quarterback questions for damn near a decade. And yes, Kyler's been there, but the injuries.
They're not going to take quarterback there.
I'm telling you, what good is a running back without a quarterback, dude? What good is it? You think you're the only one who values Ty? People are looking at Ty.
I can't see Arizona drafting. You just traded verticality. You can't tell me they're going to go out on. No way.
Sitting there at 3. Don't have to move up. It's a good opportunity.
I mean, who are they have? They have Jacoby Brissett will be their starter.
Yeah, he'll be their 1 this year, but he's just a get me over.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do. I think Jeremiah Love is likely there.
I mean, again, let's not forget who we're talking about, dude. We're talking about an organization that went Josh Rosen into Kyler, and Josh has never been heard from since. And Kyler had been there for a little while, but there were issues. And you know, I don't know, dude. I just think that the Cardinals need to put the quarterback position to bed. And whether they do or not, I don't know. That's going to be up to them. Frankly, you're probably right. They're probably going to make another asinine pick at 3 and do what they shouldn't do and draft someone they shouldn't. And it's going to be the talk of the first round on ESPN.
I mean, Arvell Reese, Francis Muinoa. I mean, I could. There are, because my belief is Fernando Mendoza will go 1. I think the Jets are exclusively locked on David Bailey at 2.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance it's Jeremiah Love at 3. I think Arizona really likes him.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake, dude. And I love it's not because of Jeremiah. Jeremiah's he's going to be a dominant back in the league. That's not in dispute. I just think that he should go. If you're drafting Jeremiah Love, you better have a quarterback and you better have an offensive line, because you draft him without either of those, you're what's the point? What do you do?
I think Jacoby Brissett's a nice Band-Aid. I think they will take a quarterback. It's not going to be a 3. I mean, if you look at 3 is Arizona, 4 is Tennessee, 5 is the Giants.
I don't know. I feel like, see, that's the interesting one. If the Cardinals go Ty Simpson, doesn't Jeremiah Love automatically go to the Giants?
No, I think he automatically goes to Tennessee. Because the Giants have Scatterbo. So why would you draft another running back?
Because he's going to be an injury report guy, and they damn well know that.
Could be. I mean, there's not a whole lot of place. This is my Caleb Downs argument. I don't think there's a whole lot of places for Caleb Downs. If I think he's going to fall out of the top 10.
Well, it won't be because people don't like him then, if that happens.
I'm really curious to see what the Cowboys do.
Straight up. That's what they'll do, I think. Which, again, maybe that's the Cardinal way, right?
Do they wind up at 8? Like, we'll see. I think it's fascinating. I think it's really fascinating. No way Scatterbo lasts all season, though, but he plays to get injured. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So, Jets have done enough to know Bailey. He's being canceled does not mean
his meeting with them was canceled.
Yeah, I think
they don't need to meet with him. They're taking him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mendoza, Bailey, Reese, Love, Tate, Styles, Miami old lineman, Delane, and Downs.
Maybe.
Okay. Cardinals will trade out of that pick and get Ty late in the first. We'll see. Not liking Ty Simpson is the one thing that unites Indiana and Miami fans of late. Well, very well could be. Very well could be.
Where's Carson Beck in this draft, brother? Like 18 rounds down. Yeah, like where's bro at?
You know, I would rather see Love to the Titans. He would make sense as they have Ward. Love to Arizona makes sense. Set the table for Manning next year. Yeah, could be. I think Jeremiah Love is going to be a dominant performer.
Agreed.
I mean, not as dominant as Diana Rossini. And yes, we will get to far more draft this week. Jake loves this story.
Well, when you're taking a victory lap on it, I mean, it's hard not to love it, right? I mean, come on.
Okay, go ahead. Roll it out.
Yeah. I mean, what did I tell you guys? First day this story came out, dude. Not about the money. Husband's loaded, right? We discussed that. But at the same time, Diana has a track record of talking about other dudes and, bumping up next to them and giving them lappers, as she calls it, and just all this
giving
stuff,
them
right?
Lappers,
as she calls it. So my initial take was this is nothing more than husband being annoyed that wife is always out of town and always, getting nice with other dudes, and sent a personal investigator out to do some personal investigating and absolutely, positively wrecked homegirl. And Vrabes isn't seeing any discipline out of this. But what do we get? We get what's Buddy's name? Jared Stillman saying that, yeah, dude, like my source is this and my source is that the husband did this. Like, it's all coming out now. And this was an inevitability, bro. I'm just telling you, this was the angle from the beginning.
You know by now that Diana Rossini's resigned from The Athletic, but this is not where it stops. 2024. Out of nowhere, the AP published the vote totals and who voted for who for the MVP. Diana Rossini is quoted as saying in 2024 that she's not trying to see Josh Allen anytime soon, and that he called her and was upset, or that many people called her and were upset.
Oh.
The AP's not removed her as a voter for the MVP yet.
Mm-hmm.
Should they remove her?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's just not, you don't get to be a disgraced reporter and still have your MVP vote, dude. You're not, and I would go as far as to say she's not a reporter right now. She's unless she rolls out her own outlet, I guess. She's her own brand now. Like, she's just one of us, and because she did it for 16 years or however long it's been, that she has credibility. She doesn't have any credibility. How could she? Right? How do you have credibility when you've resigned and you've got those pictures and you've been unable to? Because I think the most damaging part is that the Athletic / New York Times gave her the opportunity to give them evidence to support her alibi of, hey, like, this was a friend's trip, and she couldn't do it. So they went full steam ahead on the resignation. So with that in mind, I don't know how you can say, or anybody could say, that currently she has credibility when the state of affairs are where they are. So no,
say something different.
Yeah, like,
and
she
says
should
something
not have,
different.
She should not have an MVP vote right now, dude. She should not have privileges. You lost that right when you allegedly did what you allegedly did. So she
said what she said.
Yeah. So, I think that it is. Yeah, I just think that that is what it is. But I think that the whole voting thing, and I just think that these are the privileges that you begin to take for granted when you've been doing it for as long as she has. And I'm just telling you guys, man, like, these people think it's like, dude, so there's this other portion of the story where the Post allegedly gave the New England Patriots time to react to this. Quote, the Post gave Vrabel a longer time to respond than what is considered industry norms, and owner Robert Kraft took advantage of that extended time frame to put pressure on the reporter and newspaper. A notorious crisis strategist made the call, but was unsuccessful in neutering the story. So they even gave you extra time to get your ducks in a row, and you thought the right way to go about this was to go after them, I've never heard this term, crisis strategist. Dude, you thought having a crisis strategist roll up on the phone and try to torch them was the right idea? Come on, bro. Like I this is so first world 1%er elitism, dude. This is you guys saying, oh, we're better than this. You guys can't do this to us. We're the victims. We did nothing wrong. And here's the Athletic, saying, oh, yeah, we gave her the opportunity. This third paragraph here, when this situation was brought to our attention last week, there were clear concerns, but we received a detailed explanation, and it was our instinct to support and defend a colleague. As additional information emerged, new questions were raised that became part of our investigation. While our investigation was ongoing, we gave her an opportunity, yada, yada, yada. The Strauss article includes new reporting that Rossini immediately consulted with, and here it is again, a new label, crisis communication expert, and coordinated with Vrabel as to their response to the story. So hold on. You're asking me, should she still have an MVP vote?
Yeah.
She coordinated with the great Vrabinator about their response to these allegations, and we think she should still be able to vote for MVP in the NFL.
It's rough, dude. It's
not
rough.
a chance.
I agree.
No
It's rough.
No
I
way.
agree. It's rough. I agree. I don't know. I don't think she'll ever work as a reporter again. And which I don't necessarily think I agree with. What I don't understand is, why is the punishment so harsh for her? And when did we all become ethics hawks? Now, all of a sudden, we're all worried about our ethics because she's got a set of cans on her and Mike Vrabel doesn't?
No, that's not why, dude. See, this is what we can't. That's not why. The reason why is because she's the reporter and he's the guy within the organization. Does it make what he did right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can't even imagine or begin to imagine the damage he's done to his personal life through these photos. It's just as damning for him. The only difference is he's not a reporter. He's a head coach. She's a reporter. There are different professional standards depending on what role you have. And
I just don't think this should cost her career.
Okay, I agree with that. It should not cost her career. But what has she not done? She's not been accountable. She has not said, hey, yeah, you know what? Like, whether I did or I didn't, here's what matters.
I'm resigning from The Athletic, and the New York Times isn't being accountable?
No, because what did she do? Do we still have it? She didn't take any accountability in this resignation. There's no accountability here. There's absolutely no accountability. What does this say in short? This basically says in short, she's resigning to prevent further flack and further issue coming to The Athletic and the New York Times. And while, what does she say? She says,
I refuse to let it lend it further oxygen or let it define me or my career.
So
she's denying it.
She's denying it.
And but we're assuming it happened.
Well, no, we're not assuming it happened. There's pictures of it happening. That's the problem. That's the issue. And again, to support that, the buddy from The Athletic, I think their president can't remember his name, saying that additional information came to light and she was unable to provide evidence through either text message with their friends or anything else that this was.
That's allegedly, according to sources, she couldn't provide.
Allegedly. So
evidence.
So my main point is that it's easy to be like, hey, there's a double standard here. And that's a conversation unto itself. I agree. I agree with what Breer said originally, which was, yes, generally speaking, outside of this situation, yes, there are double standards for female reporters that male reporters don't have to deal with. I completely agree with that.
But just in general, when in this country have we been ethics hawks? Look at what's going on in Washington, D.C. We have people making money on Polymarket based on what's going to happen the next day with oil or war or the Strait of Hormuz or...
Oh, yeah, there's corruption all over the place.
And we're trying to torch a reporter and end her career over it. Trevor Bauer had rough sex with a girl that a judge believed was consensual and his career's over. When did we become ethics hawks in this country? Seriously, it's just, that's what frustrates me. The double standard right now is remarkable.
It is.
It's just remarkable. So, and finally, now we've talked about Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz and the Utah Mammoth, for how long?
Ages. It's been a while, though, I will say.
And he has routinely screwed up marketing things under his watch.
Right.
How bad is this? Do you guys see it?
Wow.
What's wrong with this picture?
Bro.
Did you see it, Jake?
Yeah, dude. UATH? UATH?
Yeah, you don't spell Utah UATH.
And excuse me, it's Utah.
and look at these shirts that were printed by Fanatics. They have the Fanatics logo on them, mass produced with a misspelling on them.
How?
At this level, how does that happen? That is what's incredible. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that you misspelled the word Utah on a Utah Mammoth playoff shirt. After forgetting to put purple Jazz uniforms out. Remember
because
that whole
you wanted
fiasco?
to do highlighter yellow and you wanted to roll out a full SEG line.
I'm amazed by it. I am absolutely amazed by it. Is this Ryan Smith's fault or Fanatics? I think this is both. And my guess is this design was approved by somebody at the Mammoth.
Okay, quick question.
Is it directly his fault? No.
Bro,
Is he the owner of the team who hires only the best people? Well, yeah.
best indicator of future behavior. Past behavior. Not the first time, won't be the last time. You had one job. Make sure that the state name is spelled correctly, sir. This is not Connecticut. This is not Pennsylvania. It's 4 letters. Like, dude, it's not that hard, bro.
Are you really all you had to do was spell Utah correctly?
By the way, I don't even mind the graphics on this shirt. I like the colorway, the mammoth head. Like, this is not even that bad of a shirt. This is fine. Just spell everything right. Like, I would have even given you more slack if you had only one M in mammoth, right? If you had spelled mammoth wrong, I'd have been like, all right, maybe that's a printer error, right? There's only 1 instead of 2. Let's not torch them.
And
but it's
the worst part is you had the lead on the Golden Knights. And then I'm pretty sure they gave up 3 in the third to lose that game 4-2. You were up 2-1 going to the third, and you got beat 3-0 in the third.
Tough.
At least you have these cool shirts, right? At least you have these cool shirts. And can I again say, please, the NHL playoffs are the best playoffs.
By a lot.
And, Mua Math Moth, exactly.
Right. I mean, something like that, dude. Yeah. Right.
What the tusk is going on? Classic Vodtech skydiver slamming into the scoreboard and getting stuck. So hokey. Buddy had one job to proofread before printing. Was this TUC James? I mean, it's just crazy to me. It's unbelievable.
Like, come on.
One time after West Virginia won the NIT, they were giving championship shirts that said West Virginia. Okay. Go Canes, Stanley Cup champs. Bro, did you guys see the hit in the Canadiens Lightning game? I was watching that game on the plane. Oh, my God. The power. Oh, go you off. Exactly. Arizona Coyotes 2.0.
Can you imagine the broadcast team rolling up and being like, yeah, we've got the UAth Mammoth here today. Like,
West Virginia. West Virginia. How do you misspell West Virginia?
Oh, shit.
I don't know. Can't wait for BYU to beat UF this year.
Yeah, right? I mean, come on.
It's so bad, dude. Joey said, what would a veterinary charge to fix that spelling on the shirt? Yeah, too much. We get all the Mammoth games in Arizona. That's neat.
But will you ever get a hockey team on the res?
No, because you can't build a stadium. I just thought it was interesting that they went full UAth on our ass.
Brutal, dude. Brutal.
You know.
Yeah, whether it's his fault or not, it's his fault. He owns the team, is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, they're in the playoffs. They have this beautiful new practice facility.
Another prophecy that's come true on the Monty show. What did we say? Mammoth will be better than the Jazz, and here we are.
Do the Jazz get the number 1 pick?
No. They should. They won't.
And BYU fan, I love you, but stop believing that AJ is going back to school. He's not going back to school.
Why would he?
You wouldn't. Francis Muinoa has a herniated disc in his back. Even with the injury, he's expected to be the first lineman off the board. How does he have a herniated disc in his back?
Yeah.
I think that's HIPAA.
I don't know, bro.
Ugh. That's brutal. Let's hope that's not true.
Yeah.
Let's hope that's not true. That would be brutal. AJ DeBanza to the Utah Jazz. Can you imagine if they don't get
that's not the Utah Jazz. No, that's the Jazz.
Jazz, excuse me.
Yeah.
Right.
UHath.
Yeah. BUY versus UAth this year is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, talking about some stock options here, right?
Logan Cooley is a Minnesota Gopher alum. Okay. That has been news for a bit among teams. They had him go back for more tests after the combine.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. Since this has now been on YouTube for the record, it's UAth. Thank you. On the record now.
Notice, never got an explanation from James about how we took his comment out of context. I just want to make sure we're on the same page before the show's over. Never got a response to that. So,
nope.
Just pointing that out.
He's probably upset with us. The Monty Show is always presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com, where you never reach into your pocket to pay the advocates, because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Make sure you tell me you heard about it on the Monty Show. Lots of NFL draft the next 3 days. So stoked. Cannot wait until tomorrow. Say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.